notice with the iPhone 17 are minor. The design obviously really didn't change at all since the 16, which means it's still matte all the way around the back and the sides, which I like. It's still IP68 water and dust resistant. It also still rocks a bit on a table because of the corner cameras. And it still has the camera control button, which Apple was suspiciously quiet about in all of their keynotes and presentations and videos involving the camera. It's giving me 3D touch vibes. Like, I actually wouldn't be totally shocked if it just quietly disappeared in 2 years. I kind of hope it doesn't, but yeah. There are also new colors, and it's one of the nicest lineups as far as colors we've seen in a bit. But anyway, the effect that I talked about earlier in the video is even more true now than ever before, which is when the base phones in a lineup of phones is really good, when it's a really good deal, it makes the pros, the more expensive ones, harder to justify. And that's a problem other smartphones have had to deal with in the past, and that's never been more true about the iPhones. This 17 is really good. Why would you spend $300 extra for a Pro? What are you getting out of that? With the vapor chamber and telephoto camera? And the more I thought about it, the more I think it actually means the Pro phones are actually appropriately named, because the things you're getting out of those phones now for spending that extra money are little smaller things that really only pros are going to notice or need. Like the Pro chip with the better GPU and improved sustained thermal performance thanks to a vapor chamber. Most regular use of a smartphone is bursty and very on and off, but you know, the pros might be gaming for a while or recording long video sessions. And the pros also have a LiDAR emitter for autofocus and a telephoto camera, and just generally higher quality cameras and more manual and high touch camera features like ProRes RAW video, stuff that regular people aren't touching. So outside of that, if you're not literally a pro, if you're not doing a bunch of gaming or a bunch of long video captures, then there are very few convincing reasons to spend the extra $300 on the Pro phone. People will still do it, but I think this is the phone most people should get. And I'm okay with that. Thanks for watching.
Leute, was geht? Herzlich willkommen jetzt zurück zu Cake TV Uncut. Nicht radikalisiert, und der ist wahrscheinlich noch schlimmer. Das sind halt Sachen, die wir alle schon kennen. So, und ja, also ich sehe da irgendwann einfach keinen Sinn mehr drin. Selbst ich, Digga, der größte Shoyuka-Kritiker Deutschlands, ist jetzt langsam an einem Punkt, wo ich halt sage, ey, lass die einfach. Also es wurde so viel über sie aufgeklärt und die macht sich die Reichweite jetzt einfach selber kaputt. Lass die einfach in die Irrelevanz abdriften. Die ist ja auch gar nicht mehr online. Und ja, deswegen... No.
Ich wollte in diesem Video auf jeden Fall nicht ausdrücken, Shoyuka hat gesagt, er schießt Charlie Kirk, sondern ich wollte damit zeigen, dass Shoyuka, Dave oder Lillyschote Leute radikalisieren und sich eben nicht auf einem normalen demokratischen Fundament begeben, wo man sagt, okay, Gesetz ist, dass man Leute nicht erschießen darf und daran sollten wir uns alle halten, sondern Leute wie Lillyschote dann ja eher darüber fantasieren, dass sie schon Lust hätte.
Ja, Digga, Junge, wirklich, wegen sowas ist das ja geil. Dieses kleine Ding macht aus einer 10 von 10 1 von 10, das ist auch wahr. Digga, oder so ein Kuhring hier drin. Ich weiß nicht, warum Frauen denken so, ja, Mann, Digga, geil. Wer Frau mit Zahlen bewertet, ist ein soll ich sie mit Fahrrädern bewerten? AMK-Wert der Kopfgipfel. Geil, Alter.
Donald Trump.
Und ja, nur ich bin gerade auf der Arbeit zusammengebrochen, ne? Ja, nur so, falls dich interessiert, sorry, wenn nicht.
Zu erschießen, wenn sie keine Strafe dafür bekommen würde. Aber okay, KuchenTV kann das ja auch anders sehen, ist ja auch nicht schlimm, wenn man manche Sachen anders sieht. Aber ich hatte das Gefühl, dass irgendwie das nicht richtig rübergekommen ist, was ich damit ausdrücken wollte. Daher wollte ich dieses Video hier mal machen.
Ja, also ich verstehe das schon bei Ofenkäse, ne, wie gesagt, das ist halt, ne, wir haben jetzt auch kein Beef oder so. Ich finde einfach generell, ich meine, ne, das ist auch, ne, kein Front zum Beispiel gegen Jakob, aber ich finde, der hat so dieses Shoyuka-Clickbait auf jeden Fall nochmal so auf ein anderes Level gebracht, ne? Dass der so jedes Mal gesagt hat, Shoyukas Onkel, Shoyukas Schwester, Shoyukas Cousine 3. Grades und so weiter, ne? Das war ja eine Zeit lang so gefühlt halt jedes Video und... Ey, versteht mich nicht falsch, ich bin der, also ne, ich habe auch manche Clickbait-Titel und so weiter halt gemacht, ne, aber zum Beispiel, oh, ich gucke hier gerade, ne, guck mal, er ist zum Beispiel der Einzige, der Shoyuka immer noch Shoyuka 3.0 nennt. So, ne, also wir alle nennen sie jetzt Sarahs Vegan Space, weil die jetzt halt für uns alle bekannt ist. So, und er versucht da trotzdem dann nochmal irgendwie diesen Shoyuka 3.0 Sticker, Digga, den Shoyuka 3.0 Stempel da irgendwie reinzuhauen. Und sowas fühle ich halt nicht, ne, wenn man es jetzt mal macht, okay, ne, wenn die jetzt wirklich Shoyuka verteidigt und das ist irgendeine Frau, okay, dann kann man vielleicht mal Shoyokas Schwester irgendwie schreiben, aber wenn das halt so damals so in jedem zweiten, dritten, vierten Video passiert, na, dann fühle ich das halt nicht. So, ich bin auch einer, der Themen halt gerne ausschlachtet, aber man muss es jetzt auch nicht zu sehr übertreiben. Und wie gesagt, ich nehme mich da auch selber nicht raus, ne? Also auch ich mit Shoyoka 2.0 und Shoyoka 3.0 hätte man sich wahrscheinlich auch klemmen lassen können, ne? Dass man das halt immer wieder macht, ne? Aber ja, wenn man irgendwie die Leute nicht kennt, ne? Weil wir dann trotzdem Klicks auf das Video haben, ne?
Und das mal ein bisschen erklären. Denn KuchenTV sagt ja auch, das liegt bei mir daran, dass ich nur zu wenige Themen auf meinem Kanal bespreche.
So, und wie gesagt, das ist das, was ich bei OpenG so schade finde, weil an sich inhaltlich finde ich die Videos eigentlich ganz gut, aber oftmals hat er dann so Videos, wo man sich so denkt, ja Bro, geht dir der Content aus oder was? Und ich glaube, dass da das Problem ist, dadurch, dass er ja einfach auf wenige Personen seine Kanäle aufgebaut hat. Ne, erst Drachenlord, dann Shoyoka, ganz einzeln mal jetzt sowas wie Charlie Kirk oder Lehrenfrau, dass er einfach, glaube ich, da manchmal sich so denkt, okay, ich muss jetzt was hochladen und ich gucke einfach, was gerade passiert ist. Ich finde aber, man sollte nicht so Shoyoka alle 2, 3 Tweets, die sie raushaut, halt ein eigenes Video machen. Also, ne, ich finde, das ist irgendwann too much. Und wie gesagt, Ofenkäse kann ja auch gut argumentieren so. Und da würde ich mir wünschen, dass der von mir aus auch einfach halt ein bisschen weiteren Content macht. Der muss ja nicht 1:1 uns anderen Meinungsbloggern irgendwie hinterherlaufen. Ne? Aber keine Ahnung, jetzt auch was zu Mert und der Icon League zum Beispiel zu machen.
Ja, und generell stimmt das natürlich. Ich habe nur wenige Themen, die ich auf meinem Kanal hier bespreche, denn, und das ist vielleicht nochmal wichtig zu erwähnen, ich bin kein normaler Influencer, so wie das andere sind. Ich mache das hier nicht als Hauptjob. Ich sitze nicht den ganzen Tag vor YouTube Deutschland und suche Beats, über die ich irgendwelche Videos mache.
Ja, außer wenn man diesen komischen Hater fragt, den wir alle schon wieder vergessen haben. Ein Matcher?
Dafür habe ich gar nicht die Zeit und, wenn ich ehrlich bin, auch nicht die Lust. Wenn ich was außerhalb meiner normalen Streamer mache, die ich halt sowieso verfolge und anschaue, bespreche ich das ja meistens auf meinem Ofi und die Welt-Kanal. Aber auch da kam ja schon lange Zeit nichts mehr. Und ich überlege auch, ob ich das in Zukunft irgendwie anders gestalten soll mit den Kanälen. Und dass, wenn irgendwie alle paar Monate mal ein Video kommt, ich das dann hier vielleicht auf dem Kanal hochlade. Aber bisher ist es ja so, dass ich nur über einzelne Leute spreche, die ich auch halt selber verfolge. Das war in großen Teilen früher halt der Drachenlord, dann Shoyoka und in Zukunft vielleicht Lillyschote oder irgendjemand anderes, den ich...
Lillyschote würde ich fühlen, Digga. Da hast du auf jeden Fall meine Proof-Ding. Das würde ich auf jeden Fall, weil mit der beschäftigen wir uns, glaube ich, viel zu wenig. Ich meine, die hat natürlich noch weniger Reichweite und für die juckt sich noch weniger, aber die ist halt so lustig peinlich. Weißt du, die bringt halt so dämliche Aussagen, weil sie sich irgendwie selber die ganze Zeit als Opfer irgendwie darstellt und ja, gleichzeitig halt kompletten Schrott-Content macht. Das würde ich tatsächlich fühlen. Dann bin ich auf jeden Fall der aktivste Ofenkäse-Zuschauer. Und wenn du dieses Jahr noch 5 Lillyschote-Video machst, kaufe ich mir sogar dein Merch und trage das auf jeden Fall ein paar Streams.
Die dann halt selber auch anschauen, wo ich mir dann halt darüber denke, da kannst du mal drüber sprechen. Ich bin aber nicht der Kanal, der täglich irgendwie den nächsten Beef auf YouTube aufarbeitet. Dafür habe ich halt, wie gesagt, keine Zeit. Und daher bin ich auch, glaube ich, nicht der Kanaltyp, der vergleichbar wäre mit einem KuchenTV oder auch einem Jay Riddle.
Ja, aber guck mal, so da ist aber auch so das Ding, ich meine, irgendwas bekommt man ja halt mit, ne? Also ich persönlich finde es halt immer so, ja, also wie nannten die das immer? So obsessed würde ich jetzt nicht sagen, also Ofenkäse ist nicht obsessed mit Shoyoka, auf gar keinen Fall. Na, aber das geht schon in so eine, oder ich habe dadurch halt das Gefühl, dass man sich dann so sagt, okay, was hat Shoyoka jetzt getweetet? Ich zeig mal 3 Tweets, red dazu ein bisschen Freestyle-mäßig und das war's. So, und keine Ahnung, das finde ich als Content dann irgendwie so schade, ne? Wenn man sich so Influencer-mäßig einfach so ein bisschen unter Wert verkauft, ne? Weil irgendwann wirkt es natürlich auch teilweise dann in den Videos halt sehr konstruiert, gerade wenn es halt einfach gerade ruhiger ist. Ne? Klar, auch Ofenkäse hat natürlich komplett mit mir irgendwie durchgezogen, wenn die dann irgendeinen Stream oder sowas gemacht hat oder ne, wenn die mal wieder auf Twitter oder Blue Sky gegen uns gehetzt hat, ne? Dass man dann Videos und so weiter machen konnte, ne? Aber gerade so jetzt, ich weiß nicht, also vielleicht liegt es auch einfach daran, dass ich mich selber daran satt gesehen habe. Ja, also ich kriege ja, wie gesagt, immer noch vieles mit, obwohl ich mir das auch nicht mehr durchlese. Aber die ist halt nur noch am Hetzen gegen die Polizei, gegen Israel und was weiß ich nicht alles. Und ich denke mir halt manchmal jetzt einfach so, ja, da sind keine neuen Infos drin. So, wisst ihr, was ich meine? Ich finde, vorher hat der Shoyoka-Beef immer davon gelebt, dass die Eskalationsstufe immer höher geworden ist oder sich zumindest geändert hat, sage ich mal. Ne? Am Anfang hat sie so 1, 2 Reactions mal gemacht, dann hatten wir die Nebencharakteren-Staffel, ne? mit Young Feldsalat, Kircho und ja auch mit ihrem, mit Skurrus natürlich, ne? Der sie ja komplett schon damals als Lügnerin auf jeden Fall exposed hat. Und dann hatten wir das letzte Jahr mit den ganzen Anzeigen, Abmahnungen und so weiter. Ne, jetzt dieses Jahr war nochmal ein heftiger Abschluss mit dem Spitze-Discord und so. Und jetzt ist es halt so, jo Leute, was geht? Ich bin Ofenkäse und hier ist der 50. Tweet, wo sie Scheiße über Israel labert. Und also klar, man soll es irgendwo natürlich trotzdem aufarbeiten, so, weil sie ist halt offensichtlich Antisemitin, so anders kann ich mir das nicht erklären. Denk ich zumindest. Ne, aber ja, irgendwann ist es halt auch so, ja, Bro, es ist, also, wenn man es dann irgendwie zum 50. Mal quasi das Gleiche zeigt, mit anderen Wörtern, die sie geschrieben hat, dann weiß ich nicht, ne, so, und das fühlt sich einfach ausgelutscht an, so, das gibt einem irgendwie halt einfach nichts mehr, na, und da ist ja cool, so, man muss jetzt ja auch kein Beef oder sowas richtig aufarbeiten, so, ne, zum Beispiel, weiß ich nicht, mehr als Icon League, das war jetzt auch wirklich nicht schwer, so ein Video zu machen, ne. Bronkis schreibt, man kann den Müll, den Shioka da auf Blue Sky postet, unwidersprochen stehen lassen. Spielt doch keine Rolle, ob sie im Stream oder Blue Sky labert, um sie zu kritisieren. Ich finde halt, wenn die jetzt einen Stream wieder machen würde, ne, wo sie jetzt wieder krass über mich hetzen würde oder so, dann wäre ich auch wieder am Start, aber selbst wenn die jetzt auf Blue Sky 2 Posts über mich macht, also irgendwie, das Ding ist durch. So.
Der auch angesprochen wurde. Von daher kann man meiner Meinung nach auch nicht die gleichen Erwartungen oder Ansprüche an diesen Kanal hier stellen. Beziehungsweise, na gut, kann man natürlich doch, aber ich auf meinem kleinen Rumpelkanal hier, der nie gedacht hätte, dass wir überhaupt
Betrachte das mal so, je mehr sie solche Dinge postet, umso höher der Druck auf all die Journalisten, die sie verteidigt haben. Nee, das wäre nur in einer vernünftigen Welt leider so, Bro. In unserer Welt ist es so, dass Matthias Schwarzer von hier diesen DNB oder? Nee, Drum and Bass war es nicht. Deutscher. Oh, wo kam denn dieser Artikel? Irgendwas mit deutscher. Keine Ahnung. Der wird sich niemals im Leben wieder zu Shioka äußern. Der hat einfach nur sein RND, genau. Der hat einfach nur seine Möglichkeit gesehen, gegen uns zu hetzen, auf dem Nacken von dem Shioka-Thema. Und selbst wenn Shioka jetzt irgendwie selber der Hamas beitreten würde oder so, dann würde er einen Scheiß tun, irgendeinen Post oder sowas dazu zu machen. Ja, in der normalen Welt stimme ich dir zu, da würde das Druck auf Journalisten ausüben, die jetzt vielleicht nochmal ein Statement posten, warum sie das damals alles so weit hingestellt haben. Aber wir leben nun mal in einer Welt, in dem journalistische Arbeit den Leuten komplett egal ist, sondern dass vor allem Selbstdarsteller sind, die ihre persönliche Meinung oder ihre persönliche Abneigung gegen Leute nach außen tragen wollen. Und da haben wir leider verloren.
Groß wird. Ich kann euch jetzt schon versichern, das wird niemals so werden, dass ich jeden Tag einen neuen Beef aufarbeite zu einem Thema, was ich vorher noch überhaupt nicht auf diesem Kanal hier besprochen habe. Zumindest nicht in absehbarer Zukunft, denn ich habe nicht vor, das hier als Hauptberuf zu machen. Aber schreibt natürlich gerne mal in die Kommentare, ob ihr das in Zukunft lieber hier sehen wollt, wenn ich mal irgendwie ein Video außerhalb der normalen Reihe mache oder ob das auf dem Zweitkanal weiterbleiben soll. Ich mache mir dazu auch nochmal in Zukunft Gedanken. Aber okay, das wollte ich einmal ansprechen, weil ich das schon ein wenig anders sehe als KuchenTV und sein Zuschauer. Aber jeder darf natürlich gerne seine Meinung haben und ich meine, so wollen wir das ja auch. Als ordentlicher Siff, wie wir alle sind hier, die nicht der gleichen Meinung wie Shioka sind, können wir ja auch unsere Meinung austauschen, ohne uns dafür gegenseitig das Fressbrett zu kriegen. Ja, Tim, Glück gehabt. Musstet dir die Kauleiste doch nicht auf links ziehen.
Ja, mal gucken, Digga.
In diesem Sinne wünsche ich euch allen ein wunderbares Restwochenende.
Es ist jetzt übrigens circa ein Jahr her, dass die Pro-Shioka-Medieninitiative gestartet hat. Die Zeit RND Böhmermann stimmt, das ist schon ein Jahr her, ne? Der ist schon krass, ne? Wie die Zeit einfach rauf verfliegt. Ja, und wie gesagt, also uns hat es ja wirklich nur geholfen. Muss man ja fairerweise so sagen. Also wir hatten immer geilen Content, wir hatten immer gute Aufrufe. Wir haben zwar nicht ein einziges Statement bekommen, ja, aber das ist schon okay. Ja, wie gesagt, ne, ich denke, ich und Ofenkäse denken da vielleicht einfach ein bisschen unterschiedlich. Ne, deswegen, also das jetzt auch, keine Ahnung, das war ja auch im Fragkuchen und so nicht böse gemeint, ne. Ich, ja, fand die Frage aber generell einfach interessant so, ne, wollte die da halt einfach reinnehmen. Also es war jetzt auch nicht irgendwie bei Blatt der Ofenkäse irgendwie fertig zu machen oder so, ne, und wenn der das halt anders sieht, dann ist das doch absolut fein. Ne? Also ich denke, das ist ein Punkt, den man auf jeden Fall diskutieren kann. Und ja, schreibt auf jeden Fall gerne eure Meinung in die Kommentare. Wir sehen uns dann im nächsten Video wieder. Bis dann. Okay, thanks, bye.
Welcome back to a series. So now this has spawned a beef with Destiny. Scyphozoa is the scientific name for Jellywig.
Let's up those numbers!
Now, last video, we talked about how Hassan was not attending TwitchCon because he has safety concerns for others, right? Not him. He would never be a coward, right? Here's a quick recap.
As I said already, I'm not going to TwitchCon, not because I'm worried about my own safety, but I'm literally not going to TwitchCon because I'm worried about the safety of others.
Now, this has spawned a beef with Destiny. We're back with our favorite segment here, guys. Two regards fighting. Destiny calls Hassan a LARPer after Piker said that he's not going to TwitchCon due to safety concerns for others. This guy LARPs as a revolutionary, but wants to stay home during TwitchCon so he can stream and make more money. A tale as old as time. I can't believe you're disrespecting the on-the-ground journalist, of course. The guy who was definitely gonna go to Gaza.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to Gaza. I unfortunately most likely will not be able to go.
And then we got this diabolical meme. Ah, what the frig? Dude, wait, I was born in your house and it's just Hassan as a cockroach with, I guess, a Giga Chad exterminating him or something. Oh, I get it, because Hassan was born in New Jersey in America, and he's basically saying, don't deport me because I was born in America, therefore I'm a citizen, etc., etc. So Destiny continues. Destiny isn't buying Hassan's reasoning for skipping TwitchCon. So cringe, nobody cares about you.
So cringe. Like, nobody cares about you. Has there ever been like a right-wing violent thing that's happened to him while streaming or while out at some event? I don't think it's ever happened ever. And he's in these huge crowds of people. I don't know where he's getting this idea that nobody on the right wing cares about you. Nobody's going after you. Nobody gives a f. Like, all you do is shit on Dems all day long. No one cares about you, bro.
That reason. So make with that information, do with that information what you will.
Him trying to present this is like, I'm saving other people. Oh my God, dude. Just say that you don't want to go because you want to stay home and stream, and that's it. That's fine. Just do that. Whatever you think of Hassan, all it takes is one mentally ill person to do something. It's 100% a justified concern. So is Hassan not going to be doing any public events ever? If Mamdani or AOC or Bernie wants to do another public interview, Hassan's going to dodge that? Of course not.
Yeah, so the funny thing is that the violent stuff only seems to happen to Hassan's enemies, right? Yet Hassan is actually the one who is scared. So Charlie Kirk was shot, and he was, you know, conveniently Hassan's debate opponent 2 weeks before the debate was actually going to happen, obviously on the opposite side of Hassan, but Hassan is crying as much as if he was the one who got shot, right? In reality, people who don't like Hassan are not nearly as crazy and are far more reasonable than people who actually do like Hassan. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously, there are crazies on both sides, and I disavow crazies on any side, okay? We disavow all crazy, psychopathic, vigilante, terrorists of any kind, right? But obviously, Hassan's radical, extremist, terrorist-supporting side is a bit more of a problem because it has more crazy people who basically openly celebrate this type of violence. Not to mention, Hassan openly encourages this sort of violence as well, something that others do not actually do. So I just find it insanely hypocritical. Now, obviously, I don't blame him for staying home. Obviously, you should be protecting yourself at any cost, and that's fine, but I do blame him for continuing to do the same shit, the same type of rhetoric, even after all of these horrible tragedies. It really seems like he has learned absolutely nothing. People responded, when Destiny's roasting you and actually eating, you know you took a massive L. Maybe he's afraid of Bad Empanada showing up and assassinating him. I still don't know. He admits that guy is a complete psychopath, but still decides to associate with him, be on a stream with him, because it's convenient to be on his side. It's kind of the reason he supports terrorists as well. It's just like they are a convenient sort of tool that he can utilize against his enemies, right? He knows they're psychopathic. He knows they're insane. He knows they violate human rights. He doesn't care because they're on his side. There are real people who hear Hassan say stuff like, I'm not going there so I can protect others, and actually believe it. Don't worry, I can't believe it either. I legitimately don't know how some Hassan fans actually exist. Like, you have to... This is a procedure beyond lobotomy. It's got to be like a double, triple Big Mac lobotomy. Anyways, the back and forth continues. Hassan responds to Destiny, calling him a LARPer after skipping out on TwitchCon. I don't even LARP as a revolutionary. I'm a Twitch streamer. Schrodinger's revolutionary, back at it again, guys. I'm a Twitch streamer when convenient, and other times I'm a revolutionary. Other times I'm leading this massive movement, 1v25 in the entire world.
Risk, and now he
This guy LARPs as a revolutionary but wants to stay home during TwitchCon so he can stream and make more money. A tale as old as time, says Destiny. Oh. Once again, I don't even LARP as a revolutionary. I'm a fucking Twitch streamer. This is a statement that my haters have applied to me. Once again, they are setting the standards that they made up for me on their own, in their own minds, only to turn around and say you're not abiding by those standards. But once again, yeah, TwitchCon is the revolutionary activity that I should be engaging in.
Okay, I mean, lying again. I mean, you're the one who regularly presents yourself as this sort of revolutionary, right? You want people to think that you're the person who is single-handedly taking down, I don't know, I guess the entire evil people, the fascists, the Nazis, the right-wingers, the Asmongols of the world or whatever, and you are single-handedly going to bring the entirety of, I guess, America, maybe the entire world, free healthcare, right? You're gonna usher in this communist utopia. And just remember that clip of him with Taylor Lorenz, and they're justifying political violence, and they're talking about how somebody needs to do it or whatever, and they're talking about how threats actually work. You know, somebody left a threat and it got this guy to resign, and he's basically like praising that stuff and talking about how it's the perfect time for revolution and stuff.
Someone has to do it. See, when I say that, everyone knows exactly what I mean. That which is, I think that shows that there's a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and untapped potential, untapped revolutionary potential, as a matter of fact. And it's a great opportunity for organizing, I think, in these unprecedentedly horrible times.
Yeah, I just love how insanely easy it is to prove this guy wrong in like any capacity, any claim he makes. It's just, I feel like it's got to be draining, right? It's got to be draining to be wrong every single day, 1,000,000 times a day, unless he just doesn't care, which it seems to be the case, right? Because if I get one thing wrong, I'll get very uncomfortable. I'll try to correct it, you know, I'd feel bad about it, etc. But Hasan seems to set the standard of get one thing right out of 1,000,000 and somehow you still have a fan base, because you can ignore everything. You can in fact alter reality, and you see reality in front of your face, like, you know, the intentions of the shooter and stuff like that. Completely ignore it, just, you know, change reality to whatever narrative you want it, and apparently all these people will go along with it because they don't care about the truth. These people are not concerned with the truth. They just want to see their side win. It is the most egregious example of us versus them mentality. Right, so then out of nowhere, Hasan says that he was actually shot before, and that's why he's actually afraid of going to TwitchCon or whatever. And this story is so fucking disingenuously presented.
He doesn't want to go to TwitchCon. So then with that, you had others pushing back a counterpoint, saying that things have dramatically changed in America since then, as well as the fact that Hasan says that he's doing this to protect his fans. But no matter where you stand on this, what you're seeing is Twitch trying to reassure people that the event will be perfectly safe, with CEO Dan Clancy saying on a live stream,
just in terms of safety and security at TwitchCon in light of recent events.
Yeah, I've been shot at fucking ICE protests, man. The fuck are we talking about? Also,
okay, dude, oh my god. So now you guys might be confused. What, Hasan got shot? How did I not hear about this, right? Luckily, I know exactly what he's talking about, because unfortunately, I've been watching too much Hasan content these days for the purpose of making my videos. I know, F in the chat for me. Oh my god, how am I doing this? I don't know, I'm a very strong guy, guys. But basically what happened is that he went to a protest that was getting violent, and then they randomly fired like rubber bullets into the crowd. Okay, this wasn't live ammunition, obviously. It was rubber bullets, and one of them happened to graze past Hasan, right? Who happened to be there. In fact, specifically standing in a way trying to get shot so that he can cry about it, right? So that's basically what happened. Nobody targeted him. Let me make this very clear. In the way he said that clip, it's that he said that, oh, they targeted him because he's Hasan Piker, right? He's this guy who needs to be eliminated or whatever. By the way, if the government wanted you gone, you'd be long gone. All right, let's be honest, okay? They have the entire force, you have nothing, right? So the facts are, nobody targeted Hasan, nobody knew who he was. He was not shot because he was Hasan, he's trying to frame it, but actually it was a random shot into the crowd that he borderline jumped into to play victim, right? That's basically what happened there. And I will always try to give you the actual version of Hassan's fucking version of events here, which is basically a McDonald's Happy Meal of what could be in the box here, right? You could get a special surprise here that you never know. Right, so after this, Hassan then criticizes Philip DeFranco for even showing a Destiny tweet. Apparently that is a sin, guys. And this is the funniest thing about Hassan, is that you can be his biggest glazer on planet Earth. You can be an unrelenting, you know, hard-working dick rider, and he will still find a way to cry about it, thinking that you're not on his side, because you're not allowed to show the context of anything, even when you're presenting a story. And you guys probably remember this when he cried about Ludwig, Jellywig, you know, literally saying that streaming is not harder or more draining than a 9-to-5.
But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
And Hassan obviously saying that was dumb as shit, and Ludwig had the most lukewarm, the most unanimous take possible, saying that, hey, Hassan, that was kind of stupid, right? And then Hassan wanted him to fucking delete the video or whatever. It was the most cringy, spineless shit. That's where Jellywig originated from, right? And this is despite Ludwig being a terminal Hassan glazer. It just wasn't enough, and he still loses his mind, and the same shit is happening here.
Philip DeFranco literally posted the idiotic take from a dude who is not only in the crosshairs himself currently, but also someone who Philip DeFranco personally covered, issuing a death threat against me literally a week prior to this. Like, Pestany unironically said a straightforward death threat, issued a straightforward death threat to me directly, and Philip DeFranco covered it. That was like, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? I mean, yeah, it's just so stupid.
Yeah, Hassan, that's spot on. We should all hate Destiny and disavow his calls to violence, right? Oh wait, you yourself, Hassan, have defended Destiny, saying that all of his violent threats actually fall under free speech.
Do you think everything he said is covered by free speech? Yes, I do. Not the death threats against you, though. What do you mean? No, ultimately, I think, like, everything that he's saying here is incisive deliberately.
And the only reason you did that, because his violent threats were actually directed against conservatives, saying that he wanted to genocide half the country, and a bunch of those other clips saying that he wanted them, you know, afraid to speak at public events, or, you know, they should be afraid of their safety or whatever. But then when he threatens you, then it's not okay. Unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. And it's like, you can see this pattern of how Hassan actually believes. I feel like I'm diagnosing him at this point, right? And it's the same reason he supports terrorists as well. He will condemn terrorists who are not on his side, or like, oh, this is extremism, is not allowed. But then when they're on his side, it's like, it's perfectly okay. And the same thing is happening here. Destiny threatening other people he doesn't like conservatives, that's fine. When he threatens him, oh, this is too far, guys. This is just too far. I mean, give me a break, dude. Can you actually be consistent on one principle, one moral value in your entire life? It is actually disgusting. This guy's so politically brain rotted, he cannot stand by his own fucking values. Honestly, sometimes I feel like a witch has put a curse on his son, saying that, you know, every morning he has to wake up and, like a daily ritual, he has to get on stream and say at least 10 dumb things. 10 completely idiotic rage bait things, right? And he cannot go to bed unless he says those things. That's like the only explanation I can find as to how a man can be so unbelievably regarded. People responded, he doesn't LARP, but he just hides in a mansion and encourages his followers to commit violence. Hassan is such a performative loser. The second he gets called out on all of his insane takes, he backpedals. It's just a prank type mentality. He has absolutely zero convictions and only wants to stoke the flames of chaos and political violence as he sits back and watches, all while pretending he is just a streamer. That's what it's like. He morphs. He's like a chameleon. He changes every time, whatever's convenient, you know? He's like a journalist whenever it like helps his credibility. Otherwise, he's a streamer. Otherwise, he's a revolutionary. He's an on-the-ground reporter. Whatever he needs to be, right? He doesn't LARP as a revolutionary. He cosplays as one. Raise your hand if you've been shot at by any paintball. Let Hassan know that we're victims of his crazy rhetoric when we attend places with paintball guns. He did this to us, bro. I've been shot at. They shot tear gas 100 feet away from him. He went from eat the rich to please don't hurt me, otherwise the rich streamer, saying I was literally shot at an ice protest, implying there was a targeted attack specifically meant for him instead of a beanbag going 10 feet over his head at random when he was a group of people, is such a perfect example of his brand of revisionism. That's the thing. He's counting on people not knowing what he's actually talking about at all, right? And that's kind of a common strategy of his. Luckily, I've studied enough of his fucking brain rot to know everything he's talking about. The revolution will not be televised, Hassan Piker. Yeah, he has that, you know, on his like bio or on his like YouTube channel about section or whatever, right? Anyways, the beef continues. Destiny fires back after Hassan called out his LARPing claims.
Yeah, I've been shot at fucking ice protests, man.
Like, you personally? Like, the cops were shooting at you? And you mean, like, just rubber bullets into a crowd? Or, like, they shot, like, live ammo? Like, oh my god, he's so fucking cringe. God, he's such a cringe LARPer, and he virtue signals so fucking hard. Oh my god, you're not a victim, bro. You're a spoiled white kid from an insanely wealthy fucking family where both halves of your family were loaded as fuck. You literally lived like the billionaire's dream life in Turkey and in the United States, and now you're LARPing through your socialist project as you're like a consumer-obsessed fashion bro who rides around on fucking private planes to fucking celebrities and porn stars, and now you're on Twitter. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like the most baby fucking life in existence. Like, I didn't shot. They revoked my global entry. Oh my God, Jesus.
What the fuck are we talking about? Also, Philip DeFranco literally posted the idiotic take from a dude who is not only in the crosshairs himself currently, but also someone who Philip DeFranco personally covered, issuing a death threat against me literally a week prior to this.
I've never issued any death threats towards Hassan, and I know Hassan knows exactly what Philip DeFranco talks about or does at any point in time, because DeFranco literally has to okay his fucking scripts from Hassan over here. So yeah, congratulations on the collab there, buddy.
Like, sex pestity, unironically.
Right. Okay. I don't know if that's true. If like Philly D reaches out to Hassan to okay his scripts. I don't know. I kind of doubt that. Maybe he's talking like figuratively because of all the Hassan blazing or whatever. You know, they could be friends or whatever. I don't really care. I'm just a little mad at the horrible coverage whenever it comes to Hassan. I suspect it's because of similar political beliefs, as oftentimes it is. Whenever you suspect the case of brain rot or your favorite creator not acting in a way you expect or, you know, with integrity, it's usually politics rotting their brain. It's like a given for a lot of Americans here, right? That's a trend I've noticed as like an outsider or whatever. So yeah, that should explain a lot of the brain rot you see from a bunch of creators. Now, Destiny also says that he never issued a death threat against Hassan. I mean, you can call it whatever. The evidence is there. It was pretty clear what you said. Now, I'm not defending Hassan. To be fair to Destiny, he did say it in response to Hassan's death threat, calling Ethan's wife Ela a valid military target. And basically, Destiny said that in response to these things, people could do these things, right? That's basically what he was saying, but that doesn't make it okay. I'm not gonna say that's okay. I disavow Destiny for the 6 millionth time. I don't know how many, a billion times I have to say it. Destiny fans always get mad at me, but your idol is a fucking loser. I don't care if he hates Hassan. He's still a loser, all right? Degen Freak, just like Hassan, in fact, might be worse, all right? But it's just two absolute regard losers fighting, eating each other alive. We love this. We'll love this. It's just cinema. It's a cinema. People responded these two, and it's just the Spider-Man meme. Hassan also lies about him being detained over his political beliefs by the DHS at the airport, saying that he was questioned for 2 hours, saying this to multiple journalists who made articles about this, but then Dan Saltman caught his lie, and it turns out he was questioned for 15 minutes. Yeah, that was an insane fucking makeup. A classic Hassan Piker playing victim, you know? He's a revolutionary whose manifesto was co-signed by his trust fund lawyer. Hassan, I was once poor, Piker. Once upon a time, at age 15.5 for 3 seconds, I did not have access to my father's billions of dollars and my multi-millionaire uncle's money. I actually was grounded for being for cosplaying a communist at 15, yes. Now, the funny thing is, despite Destiny and Hassan actually hating each other's guts, there's one thing that they hate more than each other, and that's conservatives, of course. Destiny quite literally wants to genocide half the country, and wants conservatives to be afraid to even speak or be afraid to be killed at public events.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events.
So funnily enough, here is Destiny defending Hassan. So I'm just very confused with their relationship. They hate each other, but they also always defend each other in some weird way. It's like a secret romance they have, forbidden love. Destiny says that he would protest against Republicans if they tried to deport Hassan. So apparently deporting him is a problem, but you issuing an actual like threat against his life, that is what?
Have you been sending Hassan clips to Republican senators ahead of the Twitch/Reddit House hearing? No, I would never, ever, ever, ever work with Republican anybody in the House ever having to do with anything relating to speech ever. Those fucking losers. I would protest, as much as I joke about it, I would protest Hassan's deportation by any of the subhuman demon spawns that exist in this Congress. I would protest that a million times over before working with them on fucking anything. These people are actual ghouls.
Wow, Destiny. I mean, how noble. What a noble guy. You know, he really stands by his values. So he actually wants to end Hassan Piker, right? But he doesn't want to deport him. Incredible. I mean, these guys are unintentionally hilarious. It's like the level of moral standards they have is just so inconsistent. We got Hassan saying terrorists are good, but then he beefs with XUC saying, I can't believe you took a gambling deal that is so far beyond my morals, but also I support terrorists and political violence. And then we got his buddy Destiny here saying eliminating half the country is good, right? Because he believes conservatives are evil, but deporting Hassan, no, I would never support that. It is such an infringement on free speech, guys. Where is your boundaries? Where is your standard? A moral boundary is supposed to be an escalating line, right? It's like, you know, slapping someone is pretty bad, but I would do it, but I would never shoot anyone, guys. And then these guys have it the opposite way around. I'd probably shoot someone, but, you know, I wouldn't slap them. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's just always hilarious watching these two utter pseudo-intellectuals beefing with each other, right? Actually, just listening to them is making you dumber, all right? Luckily, it's interspersed by some intelligent commentary here, all right? So you're welcome. Nux responds, wouldn't condemn Charlie Kirk's murder, but would condemn Hassan Piker's deportation. That's some great standards. By the way, both of these people unironically helped Trump get elected twice because these are the crazy people who make centrists go, what the frick, the left is effed, man. Pretty much, pretty much. Hell would be an attorney trapped with these two a-holes. Well, yeah, he doesn't want his boyfriend getting deported. Dude, if secretly they had some, like, relationship, that would be the most... oh my god, that would be such cinema. It would be the greatest script in the entire universe. Ghouls, this guy has no leg to stand on for being ghoulish. You cannot wish for the death of conservatives and have the moral high ground on deporting a freaking lunatic. Destiny and Hassan bridge before GTA 6 was wild. It's not a bridge. They just temporarily do the shit to hate conservatives. Moving on to Hassan's lawyer. Basically, somebody tweeted that Trump should deport Hassan to Turkey. Hassan responded saying that he was born in New Jersey. Now here he is responding. Hassan says he's got lawyers on deck if the Trump admin tries anything.
American citizen, natural born U.S. citizen to be denaturalized and also sent to a separate country. Like, that might actually be the case. You've lawyered up. I mean, I got the ACLU with me. I got all of the civil rights lawyers they're basically salivating at the prospect, from what I understand, of being the person who successfully defends a precedent-setting legal case. So if some shit like that were to happen, I feel like I'm fairly well protected. But I do also have this, like, I have this secret belief that Laura Loomer kind of likes me, I think.
Okay, Hassan, for the last time, you're not the main character. I don't think Trump is going to personally go out of his way to actually deport you. I really don't think you're that important, honestly. You're not number one on the priority list of the US government. Just because you're a villain in the streamer drama YouTube commentary space, I don't think it translates into the highest positions of government in the United States actually going after you specifically. You know, leaving all their duties and actual work and going after Hassan here. I think honestly, you should be treated like a regular person that you are. If you violate laws and you support terrorism and you advocate violence against your enemies, you should be going to prison because you're not special, believe it or not. You're just another guy like the rest of us. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't this guy say the government is fascist already and they're a bunch of Nazis, right? So why would they care about your lawyers or any due process? If they're actually Nazis and fascists, they will just violate the law anyways and just put you in prison or deport you, right? Unless, of course, you don't actually believe that, and you simply say that because you want your psycho fan base to believe that, and then go be violent towards all of your enemies, right? Nux responds, TikTok terrorist, and it's a picture of Hassan, and we got the caption, what Antifa is really about. Now, I don't know if Hassan is explicitly declaring himself a member of this organization. In that case, yes, then the government would definitely be after you. Quick question, why haven't those lawyers helped him get his global entry back? Is it a civil rights issue when he sues for terrorist organizations? That's a good question, actually, if Hassan has these lawyers on deck who are so competent that they could, you know, destroy the US government as well. So, I don't know, he got his global entry revoked for supporting terrorists, so clearly, I don't know, it's not working too well. Guys, I want to be arrested to own the cons. Hamas, Antifa, Piker. Oh my god. We got another name to add on to the list of Hamas, Diddy, Bin Laden, Osama, Epstein, Piker, or whatever the hell. I don't know. Moving on to an update to Ethan's lawsuit against Casey Tron, Denims, and Froggen. Alright? Also, if you remember, the H3 Snark mods were subpoenaed for their information and identities, and the potential will be added to the lawsuit. So we got some updates. The H3 Snark mods have responded to the subpoenas in Ethan Klein's lawsuit. One key find, Reddit admins are being accused of offering free subscriptions to privacy software that would help remove the moderators from the internet. Snark mods, Reddit admins working with us is a conspiracy. Also Snark mods, Reddit admins bought us software to cover up our digital footprint so we can snark in peace. We got this screenshot. To be clear, we have absolutely no tolerance for these actions. Ethan and Hila concocted conspiracy theories about us colluding with Reddit admins, being Reddit admins and the CEO being involved with other subreddits to coordinate. Many of my fellow moderators have endured a deep psychological impact and fear of retaliation to the point that Reddit admins offered us free subscriptions to privacy software that would help remove our PI from the internet in the case we are doxxed and harassed by the outcome of these lawsuits. So the Reddit admins are actually helping you. Interesting. They admitted that the Reddit staff are complicit in helping them evade the law. Oh my god. Endured a deep psychological trauma. Ha ha ha. No, you fueled that psychopathy. You celebrated fake CPS. You lulled and dismissed calls as fake. You've earned every moment of the fear you're living in. Welcome to the internet. Well, now, so these freaking losers are scared to be outed as the losers they are. We already know they're jobless bums. Oh my god, dude. Ethan exposing them was the greatest thing. They're like 37-year-old unemployed reject in his parents' basement, 47-year-old Hassan mod. Like, it's just amazing, dude. Damn, Reddit is protecting these neckbeards. Of course, neckbeards will protect other neckbeards. By the way, enduring deep psychological trauma is the most pathetic excuse I've ever heard. So you do something wrong, you get called out for it, and now you have trauma? Hello? Being named in a lawsuit gives you trauma, apparently. How about you don't support the 3 Hassan orbiters and their copyright violations then? This was all up to you. This is your own fault, and you're facing the consequences, and you're crying. Now, turns out we got a response from the Snarkers that's actually 700 pages. What the heck? This is from lawyer and YouTuber LUS.
The lawyer's affidavit is 548 pages. Then we have Jane Doe, or the Does, right? Their affidavit is 158 pages, and then the sample motion is 2 pages. So in total, we have 742 pages as from the get-go. I'm not talking about like we're like Logan Paul-ish and we are like 5 months, 10 months, 15 months in. I'm talking about from day one, these individuals, these H3 Stark modders, their first real document they give to the corp is 742 total pages. What in the world could it possibly... What if I told you, and we're gonna see this, it's not just 548, that there were multiple exhibits of unknown size that were so large, I guess, they had to be deposited with the court. What were they doing? So you can see this is page 535 out of 548 screenshots. That is what they did. They screenshotted literally almost everything. And imagine paying a lawyer to do this for you. It's not cheap. We are talking about lawyers doing 742 pages of work. This is an astronomical amount. This is not even it. Remember, this is the first. This is document number 1. So what I'm saying is it could easily be 1,000, 2,000 pages, depending on what the actual.
Oh my god, 700 pages, potentially thousands. So they are paying lawyers to screenshot all this random ass info in an attempt to do what exactly? I feel like this is not going to work, right? The case is pretty cut and dry. It is copyright violation. Why even bother getting your lawyers to do all of this work? Because it's going to be so expensive for them as well to hire them for this stuff. And we know these Redditors are unemployed rejects with basically zero money here. So they're probably going to go into debt for all of this shit. All because they want to defend denims, it seems. This is diabolical. Also, can we get an F in the chat for the judge and Ethan's lawyers who have to read these 700 pages, potentially thousands, for this pretty obvious copyright case? I mean, this is the most inconsequential bullshit. I've never seen this level of desperation. It's actually just pathetic. Now, this next part, LUS says that the argument is pretty simple that they should be making, so there's no real reason for these 700 pages.
I don't know what they're doing here. The argument to me is a very simple argument that like they linked to these people, but they were unaware of their illegal activities. Let me repeat this again. You gotta run Denins over a bus, and what your argument would be is, hey, Denins did do copyright infringement, but we had no idea she was gonna do it. Right? But their argument is the reverse. There's like, oh, Denins didn't do copyright infringement, therefore we didn't do it as well. This is a much weaker argument. I understand why they make the argument, but I don't like it, no, from a perspective of saving yourself or saving somebody who you've never met, who you've never interacted with. I'm talking about Denins and the H-Free Snark mods. I think if Denin had the opportunity to give up your name, she would. Main takeaway, and I want to make sure that you guys understand this, is I think this is not good. This is not good. It's not good to drop 700 plus pages on a magistrate judge when she's starting her week. None of it actually matters, right? The only question that should be answered is, are these H-free mods guilty of contributory copyright infringement? If they are guilty, should their names be publicized or should they be turned over?
I mean, I believe so that they can be added to these lawsuits as well, right? If they contributed to these copyright violation. Now, the fact that they are so loyal to denims is just crazy to me. It seems like some terminal level of simping going on from the Reddit mods here. I feel like you could have just gotten off scot-free saying that, okay, she violated copyright and I had no idea. Probably not true, but a better chance at winning there. Instead, they're just like, oh no, she just didn't violate copyright and we're going down together. I just don't know why you would do that when it's literally documented in Ethan's public YouTube video. Like, why wouldn't you just watch that and go, okay, I'm cooked, right? I guess what's going on here, if I had to predict, is this simping is going very deep. Apparently, I don't know, Denims might have promised some exclusive spicy pictures from our OnlyFans. That might be enough to get these people to ruin their lives, you know, maybe a discount on the goods. But can you imagine your parents finding out this shit? That you're going broke because your idiot son or whatever decided to commit copyright infringement on the internet to help some bimbo from across the world or whatever? I mean, just disown them at that point. Now click this video or Hassan mails you a bottle of his baby oil from his Diddy potties. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
What's up, everybody? Here at the end of The War Within, the first dramatic chapter of the World Soul Saga, we've seen the adventure take us into the depths of the world, and even to worlds cast out into the great dark beyond. We've seen our villain Xalatath running around and amassing untold power. We've seen her siphon the energies of Dalaran, and even those of the black blood beneath Ajkahet. And recently, Xalatath assumed the power of the last Void Lord, Dimensius. So the question remains, what will she do with all that power? And what are her intentions relative to our precious world soul? So now, as midnight descends, and the second, darker chapter of our trilogy begins, Xalatath has returned to Azeroth, leading an army known as the Devouring Host, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness. You, the heroes of Azeroth, will be set on a collision course with Xalatath to save not only Azeroth itself, but everything that is.
Hi everyone. As we kick off our Midnight Alpha, we'd like to give you all a deep dive into what's in store. We want to recap everything we've shared so far, along with some brand new details. Today we're going to talk about the story of Midnight, as well as the zones, dungeons, delves, and raids that await if you want to save our world from Xalatath. We're also going to talk about some big new features coming in Midnight, like Prey and the Devourer Demon Hunter specialization. And of course, let's not forget housing. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, thank you for being a part of this amazing community, for choosing to spend your time in Azeroth and with each other. Now, without further ado, let's see what's in store for our home away from home. After all, it's nearly midnight.
The Void Storm rages in the sky, a surging vortex of shadow and chaos. Xalatath has returned. Wielding the Dark Heart, she carves a path of destruction through once tranquil lands. Her all-consuming goal, devour the heavens, blot out all light, and bring about her midnight. It is in the shadow of this swirling storm that the defenders of Azeroth must rally once more. For peace, for the light, for the good. This is not a battle. It is a reckoning. At the Sunwell, that eternal bastion of light and hope, Lady Liadrin and Lord Themar Theron lead the Blood Elves as they prepare to make their final stand. Because across all worlds and all stories, one thing never changes. Home is worth fighting for. Welcome to World of Warcraft Midnight. Your story begins on the Isle of Quel'Danas. In the immediate aftermath of Xalatath's invasion, the Sunwell surges with light, calling out to all heroes of Azeroth for aid, while the vile creatures of the Void wage a relentless assault in the hopes of extinguishing it once and for all. Flying monstrosities attack from darkened skies, and malign foes manifest without warning to wreak havoc across the plateau. Stand true with the champions of Azeroth as they mount a desperate defense against this invasion. For if the Sunwell falls, so too does the world. The defense of the Sunwell leads you directly into Silvermoon City. But not the one you know. The renewed light of the Sunwell symbolizes Silvermoon's revitalization, shining over a city fully restored to a thrumming, living capital. Familiar landmarks gleam with fresh polish, while new areas like the Sanctum of Light and the Garden of Remembrance offer countless nooks and stories to explore. Inside the city walls, the threat of Xalatath's war draws the Alliance and Horde into wary cooperation, with shared spaces hosting common services like trainers, the auction house, vendors, and more. Around a third of the city remains off-limits to those under the Lion's banner, so the Alliance allegiant should tread lightly or risk being attacked on sight. Outside the city walls, however, is where your role in the fight against the Void really begins to take shape. The strength of the Sunwell infuses
comment on the letter within the birthday book. Because it's weird and looks bad. Immediately following that poem is a letter from another friend whose name is censored in both the poem and table of contents for the birthday book. It's a letter to Degenerate 1 from Degenerate 2 with a redacted name. Still, in the poem, the line, "So many girls, so little time," appears while describing Jeffrey as always grinning like the mysterious, mischievous lad you are. It's under the friends section of the book, so if names like Bill Clinton and Donald Trump are unredacted, who could this person be for it to be one of the few censored lines in the book in this part, when most of what is censored are names and pictures of victims? So, Degenerate 1 and Degenerate 2, who is this freak that's still out there and has enough power to have this redacted, not even being a victim? Maybe it's I don't know, another FBI informant. Whoever it is, it definitely seems like they know what Jeffrey Epstein was guilty of, and if not worse, given the terminology to describe themselves and Epstein and the phrasing within the letter, they are as bad, once again, if not worse, as the degenerate. People that have seen our previous videos may remember that aside from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, only one other person ever faced charges for crimes related to the trafficking and assault of minors. That was Jean-Luc Brunel. He was a modeling agent who trafficked girls to Epstein and was accused of sexual assault himself for many of the victims, some under the age of 15. And Brunel wrote a letter to Epstein, which can be read in the birthday book on page 125. Maybe you could call it a letter, but mostly what it is a fixation on the number 15. Math equations that result in the number 15. It's very creepy. And as you guys know, I am no mathematician nor math magician, so it seems like the scrawlings of a crazy person on the inside of their padded cell, but at the bottom, there's what appears to be a tool to help solve some equations, with the symbol G being G's age. It seems like a tongue-in-cheek way of gamifying their crimes for Epstein's birthday, is what I'm picking up out of it. So now, whose letter could follow up the one from Jean-Luc Brunel? Disgraced freak. Why, Bill Clinton, of course. Yay! Clinton's handwritten letter, by the way, President of the United States, loved President. Everybody loved Bill Clinton. My mom voted for Bill Clinton in the 90s, okay? My mom really liked Bill Clinton. Pre-allegations, obviously, and murder of Vince Foster, and all the other stuff that they did and stuff. My parents are both extremely black-pilled in the government. Extremely. They accuse me of being an intelligence asset. That's how off the rails they are. Anyways, Bill Clinton, previous president of the United States of America, elected democratically. By the way, his handwritten letter to Jeffrey Epstein on page 126 isn't so extreme, but when it was quoted by the Wall Street Journal before the book's full release, it was quoted accurately and in its entirety aside from illegible words. It is fairly tame, but a few lines stick out if you're looking for something to point at to say that Bill Clinton had known, which of course he denies that he knew anything, because what else would he be honest? I don't think they're known for that, but it stands out to me because across all my years of writing letters for people's birthdays, which I've never really done, to be honest, maybe once or twice, I've mentioned learning and growing as people grow together and they learn to be better people, but the word knowing stands out very specifically. Knowing what? Knowing what? Bill references the two's adventures. What kind of adventures? What kind of knowing are you talking about? Is this some Moloch shit? Is this some Daedric shit? Are you talking about Daedric shit right now? Like, what is this? What plane are we on? Oblivion? I don't think so. We know that Bill and Epstein went on a trip to Africa together on Epstein's plane with Kevin Spacey, and Kevin has alleged the plane had many young girls. He's obviously massively disgraced as well. Again, Bill Clinton has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, and when confronted with the letter, inquirers were directed to his previous statements of denial rather than any new statements being made. So, he's not really that interested in talking about it. But what is interesting, is that Bill Clinton and this trip to Africa are referenced in the very next letter in the book, this one being from Alan Dershowitz, a lawyer who would go on to represent Epstein and help organize his sweetheart deal of the century. It's as follows. Dear Jeffrey, as a birthday gift to you, I managed to obtain an early version of the Vanity Unfair article. I talked them into changing the focus from you to Bill Clinton, as you will see from the enclosed excerpt. Happy birthday and best regards. The letter includes an edited image of a Vanity Unfair cover alleging Epstein was Jack the Ripper and had financed Al-Qaeda. So that's a funny joke, I guess. It continues. Who was that man with Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein is, of course, one of the most famous men, a household name throughout the planet. His picture has appeared on the cover of every magazine in the world, but what was he doing flying to Africa with an obscure former politician from Hope, Arkansas? Referring to Bill Clinton, obviously, former president of the United States of America. Who was that politician and why would Epstein have picked him for the coveted seat of his private jet? The moment this obscure man stepped onto the Epstein jet, he became fair game for probing inquiry. Now, it may have been a joke and Bill's name may not have been used, but it's true today. Ever since Bill stepped on that plane, he became fair game for probing inquiry. These people are aware, 110%. Due process, legal shit, all that. I've heard Alan Dershowitz, whatever the his name is, talk about this.
You have to be able to, a sweetheart deal. It's a justice system. There's a justice system.
Yeah, there is a justice system, and I love it so much. And it works really well for everybody. It works really well for politicians, and it works really well for those below the poverty line. All right, guys? It works super well. Now, obviously, I want to get to Trump in this birthday book because it's the big meat and potatoes of this entire situation, but there are some other letters that raise eyebrows. You can pick and choose which ones you wish to talk about. There's plenty, but Henry Jarecki wrote a letter found on page 134 talking about how Epstein prefers working in private, or better yet, utter secrecy, and how much goes on behind the scenes and how they share many of the same burdens. Henry was accused by a girl Epstein allegedly trafficked to Jarecki to be a sex slave. Nick Leese, a film producer, wrote a letter found on page 135 calling Epstein a very dear boy and tells a story about an outing with a group including Epstein where one man called Toto pulled redacted skirt up to her panty and put his hand on her before another member of the group, the old man, joined in. So that's crazy. I feel like what I just said probably has to be redacted from the YouTube video or it'll get taken down. But there's also a George Mitchell, maybe the former Senator George Mitchell, I'm not totally sure. Sorry if not, wrote a letter found on page 146 crediting Epstein for the opportunity to lead a full, exciting, and fantastically varied life, and hopes Epstein will intensify your activities in many ways, especially in the field of science. Science people really loved Epstein. Nathan Myhrvold, very cool name, weirdo. A former executive at Microsoft and co-founder of Intellectual Ventures wrote a letter found on page 147 saying how Epstein didn't manage his money, but advised his lifestyle and included several pictures of animal penises and animals mating from a trip to Africa. So that's weird. A letter from Joseph Pagano as well, who I can't find out who this is. He wrote a letter found on page 158 discussing Epstein's life avoiding the public eye, wishing him health, stealth, and continued wealth. Not necessarily in that order. You usually only need stealth when you're trying to commit crimes. I'm coming at that from a game development perspective. The only time ever you need stealth is when you're doing something that shouldn't be seen. So this guy, whoever the that is, he's a freak. A poem on page 164, presumably by Stuart Pivar, a chemist and art collector, based on the poem's placement compared to table of contents. We're just kind of assuming here. It has a line that describes how Epstein's behavior would upset
have a good time, you know.
Is Eversong Woods with restorative energy, healing much of the damage of wars past and filling the zone with new growth and new life. All of what you remember of this lush, thriving forest is here. But Eversong is also a reimagined landscape of increased scale and greater beauty. Most noticeably, the Ghostlands and Eversong Woods are now joined into one large zone, which is itself joined to the Eastern Kingdoms. Eversong's flourishing fluorescence is not without complication. Though the Sunwell's light is a boon to the environment, its surging power causes pockets of light bloom, small groves of light-enriched growth, to experience surges of their own. The light bloom's rampant propagation, if left unchecked, threatens to smother all life under an overgrown tangle. Your adventures through Eversong will have you investigating the Light Bloom, dealing with the aftermath of a Hawkstrider chick gone wild, helping a suspicious apothecary with questionable motives, untangling the secrets of two feuding nobles, and even getting caught up in a sinister murder plot, alongside Magister Umbric as he works to crack the secrets of the Void. It is up to you how your story progresses beyond Eversong Woods, with 3 available paths you can tackle in any order. Brave the ancient troll kingdom of Zulaman, investigate the gnarled hidden roots of Harandar, or accompany Arator on his journey to better understand the light, the void, and himself. Zulaman finds the Armani Troll Empire at one of its lowest points. The homeland of warlord Zuljin, Zulaman was once a place where Loa bestowed to the Armani their godly strength, and were devoutly revered in kind. The temples still stand, weathered but proud. The eagle, the lynx, the dragon hawk, and the bear. Ascend windswept skyscraping peaks, explore ruins shrouded in fog, traverse stormy wilds teeming with vicious beasts,
Watch your step.
and accompany Zuljara, granddaughter of Zuljin, and the pragmatic pillar of strength now leading the Armani, as she seeks a means to save her people from void-aligned cultists and the monsters they revere. The Armani are invaluable allies in the defense against Zalatath's invading force. If you help them fight for their home, they will help you fight for yours. At the confluence of the World Tree's roots lies an impossible primordial jungle known as Harandar. It is here that Azeroth's entire history wraps, twists, and braids, a literal entanglement of
Stay
all
away
that
from
has
lions.
been and all that will be. Harandar is a land of magical, powerful growth, fungal towers, glowing moss bridges, and entire villages sprout from Harandar's wild, organic fabrics. The pulsing
Stay away
heart
from
of
lions.
this knotted tangle is the cradle, once the domain of a nascent goddess, long vanished, and now the home of the Haranir, who have for generations lived secretly under its soothing light. The reclusive Haranir are a proud and insular people. They have long avoided interfering in matters of the world above, but Zalatath's destructive ambition does not stop at the surface, and the Haranir can no longer afford the luxury of neutrality. There is another way you can help with the defense of Azeroth against Zalatath's cruel machinations. Accompany Erator, son of Turalian and Aleria Windrunner, on a continent-spanning journey in the hopes of bolstering the Sunwell and strengthening the vanguard of the light. This story-driven adventure finds you traveling with Erator as he searches for sacred relics and attempts to peel back the mysteries of the Void, all while grappling with his own relationships to his family and the light. Erator's mission brings new experiences to familiar locations. Defend Light's Hope Chapel from an attack by Scourge forces. Fight through the darkened corridors of Scarlet Monastery to put to rest those who would pervert the light for their own nefarious gain, and work with Sunwalker Desco in Hammerfall to help Erator in discovering the paladin he aspires to become. Erator's story reaches its climax in the shadow of Blackrock Mountain, when alongside the Sons of Lothar, he must face the weight of his father's legacy and decide once and for all whether he is willing to rise to meet it. The raging center of an unraveling shadowy maelstrom, and the epicenter of Zalatath's power, Voidstorm overflows with violence, chaos, and hostility. Stormfields twist and fold its space. Gravity becomes untethered and tethers again. Insatiable void creatures known as Dominar stalk the storm, each one as unique and ancient as it is hateful and hungry. They carry on their eternal hunt for power under the black gaze of 3 enormous nexus points, hubs of the malicious dark energy Zalatath draws upon to fuel her void spar and conduct her unyielding assault against the Sunwell. Join Azeroth's champions and the Void Elves in their quest to understand what powers this storm and stave off its approach. Though much of the world of midnight lies in the ominous shade of the encroaching void, there is at least one refuge for the weary, the Argentina. What began as a hidden sanctuary is now a not-so-secret tavern haven for Horde and Alliance alike. A big, cozy space filled by music, chatter, and life. If the void is the bleak and the though much of the stave off its approach. Though much of the world of midnight lies in the ominous shade of the encroaching void, there is at least one refuge for the weary, the Argentina. What began as a hidden sanctuary is now a not-so-secret tavern haven for Horde and Alliance alike. A big, cozy space filled by music, chatter, and life. If the void is the bleak and the cold, the Argentina much of the world stave off its approach. Though much of the world of midnight lies in the ominous shade of the encroaching void, there is at least one refuge for the weary, the Argentina. What began as a hidden sanctuary is now a not-so-secret tavern haven for Horde and Alliance alike. A big, cozy space filled by music, chatter, and life. If the void is the bleak and the cold, the Argentina is its opposite. A warm spark in the heart of every patron. It is a place to gather with friends, find the perfect comfy sitting room, or just soak in the atmosphere of a well-traveled watering hole. As a crossway for people of all kinds, the Argentina also serves as a source of new adventures. Familiar faces stop by here and there, spinning stories and offering quests that send you far across Azeroth in search of relics of the past. Follow the course they set for you to discover a fresh perspective on familiar locations. Xalatath is determined in her destiny, an unrelenting foe with an army that never sleeps. But you can't live every moment in grim resistance. The Argentina is always here, should you find yourself in need of a little respite. The mysteries of the origins of the Void and the knowledge and power to stop it are not to be found only on the surface. For true deliverance, as always, hides in snarled labyrinths, looming temples, deadly ruins. These delves, dungeons, and raids are the real font of power, the sacred and defiled spaces from which strength is not just earned, but taken. Across this void-darkened world hide myriad delves overflowing with incalculable danger. Located on the Isle of Quel'Danas, Parhelion Plaza is an outdoor delve that drops you into the heart of the defense of the Sunwell. Fight against the on the elves. Across this void-darkened world hide myriad delves overflowing with incalculable danger. Located on the Isle of Quel'Danas, Parhelion Plaza is an outdoor delve that drops you into the heart of the defense of the Sunwell. Fight against the surge of the Void's attack by restoring Parhelion's defenses, commanding an artillery of light, ducking into pocket dimensions and putting down Gladius Slana, a Dominar who uses summoned Voidwalkers as weapons against your stand. Expect to plunge the depths of 9 other delves and one seasonal nemesis delve when Midnight launches. You do not have to face these delves alone. Valera Sanguinar is a powerful new companion with a rogue-minded approach to problem-solving. As a DPS, her killing spree ability has her moving through the shadows to lash out at multiple enemies. As a healer, she uses vampiric reaping to rip away the life force of enemies into orbs you can collect to heal. And as a tank, she uses your first mistake to taunt and do damage over time to any enemy that turns their back on her to attack her ally. Valera is also a prolific provider of poisons that, depending on her role, empower you with more damage, better avoidance, increased speed, and more. Your adventures in Midnight eventually lead you down darker paths, paths that end in overgrown corridors and ruin-stricken relics, forgotten places of powers best left unstirred. Yet these dungeons promise plunder worthy of the peril, should you have the courage to overcome the challenges within. Windrunner Spire, the former residence of the Windrunner family, haunts the skyline of Eversong Wood's western shore. The strained relationship of its namesake sisters, Verisa, Sylvanas, and Ilaria, imbues its halls with a sullen, spiteful energy. The restless spirits bound to this animosity threaten all who draw near. Among these spirits walks the Windrunner's sole brother, Lirath, who needs your help in quelling this restlessness and clearing his once great home of hate. Serenity, however, is not so easily claimed. There are other forces that seek dominion over this domain. Emberdawn, a fire-colored dragonhawk, claims the dilapidated gardens of the Spire as a nest for her young. She is fiercely territorial, answering intruders with both talon and flame. The derelict duo comprised of the Banshee Callis and her loyal abomination Latch lead a band of fanatical undead in a hunt for relics tied to Sylvanas. They meet outside interference with a mix of shadowy magic and brute strength. Commander Krolok, a merciless orc who oversaw countless conquests during the Second War that took Lirath Windrunner's life, stalks the Spire with an insatiable bloodlust. Since being slain in vengeance by Ilaria, Krolok knows only torment and the desire to pass it on. The restless heart, a concentrated whirlwind of grief and suffering born from the conflict of the Windrunner sisters, envelops all who remain in turbulent turmoil. This swirling spectre takes the form of a ranger, combining the power of the wind with volleys of arrows to cut down the uninvited. Windrunner Spire was, at one point, a living embodiment of family and of legacy. With the help of Lirath and your allies, you can make it so once more. 7 more dungeons await you in Midnight, each one crawling with the Cutthroat and the Craven. Magister's Terrace and Murder Row in Eversong Woods, the Den of Nalorak and Mysara Caverns in Zolaman, Blinding Vale in Harandar, and the Voidscar Arena and Nexus Point Zenith in Voidstone.
Whirlwind.
The most tyrannical antagonists of Azeroth work their dark deeds from within Midnight's 3 new raids. The Void Spire, where 6 bosses hold court over the heart of the Void, and muster against the amassing vanguard of the light as it readies to storm the walls of Xalatath's stronghold. The Dream Rift, where you must join in the hunt for an undreamt god that never should have been, and put down half-birthed abominations that lash out against existence itself.
Whirlwind.
And the march on Quell Danas, an encounter still shrouded by the fog of war, beyond the known presence of Beloren, the void-corrupted phoenix, who stakes a ceaseless watch over the entrance to the chambers beyond. The Void threatens to end all of Azeroth, to rend the world in the squall of a black tempest. But the extraordinary power it carries does provide opportunities to those heroes willing to embrace it. Devoured demon hunters bend the Void to their will, ripping Void fragments from their enemies and using them as the power source for cataclysmic spells. They are mid-range damage dealers, armed with a summonable Void Scythe, darting in and out of the fray as they dance on the line between control and chaos. Voidblade and Hungering Slash work in concert, Dash into melee range to deliver a series of crushing void side attacks. Then use Vengeful Retreat to escape the enemy's reprisal. You can also start this combo off with a Void charged the Hunt. Metamorphosis transforms you into a familiar state of cursed power. The more you feed it, the longer it lasts. Ride the wave of annihilation by tearing apart souls and staying alive. Reap is a sweeping scythe attack that consumes all of your soul fragments for one massive burst of damage. Use Void Ray to cut through enemies in a straight line and leave them smoldering. Collapsing Star channels the immense energy of a dying star, focusing it into one single destructive blast. The more you cast it during your Void metamorphosis, the stronger it gets. Demon Hunters also find themselves with new disciples in Midnight. Void Elves are sharpening their warglaives and joining the hunt. Newly awakened to the dire threat of Midnight, the Haranir join the fight for the surface as the next playable allied race. Haranir are deeply entwined with the organic world. Theirs is a culture shaped not by cities or by conquest, but by the roots, the stones, the quiet pulse of the deepest breath of the world. Their armor, their weapons, their skin, all are infused with the inner light of organic power. Even the mightiest primordial predator in Harandar knows to fear the telltale luminescence of a Haranir's markings in the dense jungle brush. They are primal, ferocious hunters, a force of nature unto themselves, who possess the racial ability to travel along the roots of the world, from Harandar to any world tree, or from anywhere back to Harandar. Haranir are versatile warriors who can choose from a wide range of paths, including those of the warrior, hunter, rogue, priest, shaman, mage, warlock, monk, and druid. The last of which has all new forms that reflect the Haranir's unique connection to those hidden parts of the earth. Prey is a secret opt-in initiative run out of Silvermoon City by Astalor Bloodsworn, a blood elf with what some might call a colorful past. Astalor is after one thing: anguish, a powerful magic siphoned from Azeroth's deadliest threats, and he's offering generous compensation to heroes who are courageous or foolhardy enough to go chase it. Astalor's lair in Murder Row is your base of operations for Prey, the place where you pick your targets, track your progress, and collect your rewards, including cosmetics, mounts, titles, and housing items. The deeper you go, the harder the challenges, and the more you unlock. Prey has 3 difficulties. Normal, which serves as an introduction to the system, along with offering plenty of challenge. Hard, where the ambushes get meaner, and the encounters more intense. And Nightmare, which is just about the fastest way to gain intimate knowledge of Midnight's many new and scenic graveyards. Prey can ambush you at any time, whether you're questing, exploring, or minding your own business. Each time you defeat your target, you increase your advantage by tiring them out and buying time to find whatever dark hole they're hiding in. Higher difficulties incorporate torments, personal afflictions that only impact you. Torments cause a wide range of effects, like creating an AoE damage puddle under recently deceased foes, or haunting you with a bloody spirit that deals lethal damage when it catches you. A torment can also manifest in the form of Astalor's impatience, forcing you to make a kill within a specific time limit before Astalor simply extracts his payment from you. Prey targets are all different, and all deadly. Magister Sunbreaker, a disgraced blood elf whose reckless magic is a threat to Silvermoon and everyone near it. High Vindicator Vareem, a zealot who believes the void can only be defeated by covering the entire world in holy flame, and is ready to put that belief to the test. Executor Canius, a sadistic dominar whose primary hobby is murdering anyone foolish enough to challenge his martial prowess. Prey is a way to add excitement, unpredictability, and challenge to your journey through Midnight. But be warned, there's a reason Astalor isn't chasing these targets himself. For those who tread the worn paths and soaring skyways of Azeroth, it is more than a world, more than story, character, or conflict. Azeroth is, and always will be, home. Housing in Midnight is dedicated to that ineffable feeling of being part of something bigger, of something greater, of living a real life as a true part of a real world. Housing in WoW is built to give you boundless self-expression in the place you call yours. Collect hundreds of decorations and dive deep on customization. Place, rotate, scale, and move items to your heart's content. This is more than changing a coat of paint or choosing a different picture frame. It's a sandbox for your imagination. World of Warcraft has over 2 decades of content, and the time you've spent in Azeroth over the years will yield a bounty of housing rewards. Milestones like completing your Legion Order Hall campaign or finishing completionist achievements like Back to the Beyond will award housing items post facto. You'll also earn decor through dungeons and raids, reputation vendors, achievements, quest lines, housing endeavors, the auction house, holidays and live events, and crafting. All professions from all expansions can craft decor. Search the world for lumber, a new gathering resource, and use it to craft decorations that can be bought and sold on the auction house. Many housing-specific items can be dyed, giving you greater control of the finer details of decorating. Imagine your dream home. Collect and craft the decor to bring it to reality. Then tweak it until it is just right. Floor plans are flexible. You can rotate and stack rooms to create multi-floor structures. A variety of room types and shapes are available, including normal squares and rectangles, L and T hallways, as well as some more fantastical configurations. Advanced mode takes the toolset even further, allowing you to adjust each piece of decor exactly as you want. Rotate, float, scale, and more to make your home a perfect reflection of your taste. And that's just the inside. The outside of your house is also customizable. Place your home how you want it on your plot. Add fountains, statues, planters, and more. Change out your windows. Pick the perfect chimney. Add a tower, and decide on the door of your dreams. Exterior plots also have the same advanced mode as interiors for even more modification. At Midnight's official launch, you'll have a choice between exterior themes based on orcs, humans, blood elves, and night elves. Even more. Chimney. Add it. Change out your windows. Pick the perfect chimney. Add a tower, and decide on the door of your dreams. Exterior plots also have the same advanced mode as interiors for even more modification. At Midnight's official launch, you'll have a choice between exterior themes based on orcs, humans, blood elves, and night elves. These aren't just skins, they're full architectural styles with unique customization options. Orc homes feature hide rooftops, bonfires, and rugged surfaces. Human homes are rustic, with sturdy stone walls, warm wooden floors, and colorful banners. Level up your house to unlock more flexibility. New rooms and floors, bigger house sizes, increases in the number of spots for decor, and more. Every house is in a shared zone known as a neighborhood, where you and others can show off your homes, build community, and participate in rolling challenges to earn housing rewards. Neighborhoods feature a wide variety of biomes, from spooky forests and coastal plains in Founders Point to lush oases and windswept bluffs in razor-wind shores. All contain different kinds of plots. Some are secluded and quiet, while others are clustered for the socially vibrant. Your neighborhood is faction-coded in its aesthetics, but not faction-exclusive in its residency. You have the choice between 2 types of neighborhood. Private neighborhoods where guilds or groups of friends can form their own space. Public neighborhoods where you'll find a home among friends you haven't met yet. Private neighborhoods come in two varieties: guild neighborhoods, which scale to fit your guild roster, and charter neighborhoods, which are capped at 50 homes and are perfect for tight-knit communities. Endeavors are monthly neighborhood-wide activities that bring everyone together to complete tasks, unlock themed decorations, and contribute to helping your neighborhood evolve. Participate in endeavors to earn House XP and community coupons that give you access to exclusive decor. Above all, housing is designed to help you find your perfect space and transform it to your own fantasy haven. To create your own home, sweet home.
And there you have it. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire World of Warcraft team for joining us for this overview of Midnight. And if after what you just saw, you can't wait to get your hands on housing, don't worry, because it's coming your way if you have Midnight in early December of this year. Thank you again, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
Friends, we hope you've enjoyed this deeper look at Midnight. But as you can see, this fight is far from over. The drums of war thunder once again, and Azeroth needs her champions, now more than ever.
Ein Start auf Notbetrieb. Seit Mitternacht heißt es in den USA wieder Shutdown. Republikaner und Demokraten konnten sich nicht auf einen Haushaltsentwurf einigen. Damit trat eine Haushaltssperre in Kraft und die Regierungsgeschäfte stehen vorerst weitgehend still. Beamte werden in den Zwangsurlaub geschickt. Bundesbehörden müssen ihre Arbeit einstellen. Die staatlichen Mitarbeiter bekommen kein Gehalt. US-Präsident Trump hat auch mit Entlassungen gedroht.
Auch die letzte Abstimmung im Senat scheitert, um den Stillstand der Regierungsgeschäfte doch noch in letzter Minute abzuwenden. Erstmals seit 6 Jahren befinden sich die USA nun wieder im Shutdown. Die meisten Bundesbehörden bleiben geschlossen. Republikaner und Demokraten überziehen sich gegenseitig mit Vorwürfen. Die Demokraten haben sich zwar heute Abend für die Schließung der Regierung entschieden, aber wir können sie morgen wieder öffnen. Es genügt, wenn sich eine Handvoll Demokraten den Republikanern anschließen, um das überparteiliche Finanzierungsgesetz zu verabschieden. In der nächsten Oktoberwoche werden sich Millionen amerikanischer Familien zusammensetzen und fragen, wie sollen wir diese verdammten Rechnungen bezahlen? Wo müssen wir sparen, um diese Rechnungen bezahlen zu können? Oder sollten wir unsere Krankenversicherung kündigen oder ganz aufgeben? Aufrechterhalten wird jetzt nur noch, was unbedingt nötig ist, wie der Grenzschutz oder die Flugsicherung. Die Regierung will den Shutdown auch nutzen, um den Staatsapparat weiter zu verkleinern. US-Präsident Trump hat bereits mehrere Bundesbehörden angewiesen, dauerhafte Entlassungen zu prüfen.
Ja, unter dem Kommando von Tech-Milliardär Elon Musk hat die Regierung von Präsident Trump begonnen, den Staatsapparat der USA radikal zu verschlanken. Tausende Bundesbedienstete wurden bereits entlassen, weitere sollen folgen. Betroffen ist unter anderem die Entwicklungshilfebehörde USAID. Doch was ist aus den Menschen geworden, die durch Trumps Kahlschlagpolitik ihren Job verloren haben? Gudrun Engel hat nachgeforscht.
Diese Bratwurst brachte die Jobwende. Handgemacht nach einem deutschen Rezept aus dem 16. Jahrhundert. Geheimzutat: ganz viel Majoran.
Ich habe angefangen, Wurst selbst herzustellen, weil die Bratwürste hier in den USA eher fad schmecken. Und gar nicht so wie die Würste, die ich aus meiner Kindheit in Deutschland kenne. Also habe ich entschieden, meine eigenen zu machen, für Freunde und Nachbarn. Aber seit ich so plötzlich meinen Job verloren habe, nutze ich diese Fähigkeiten, um Geld zu verdienen.
Mit fast 50 und 3 schulpflichtigen Kindern zu Hause plötzlich auf der Straße zu stehen, sei der Schock seines Lebens gewesen, sagt er. Jetzt steht er jeden Mittag vor einem anderen Regierungsgebäude. Überall drohen weitere Entlassungen. Auf seinem Truck steht Plan B-Würstchen, eine Anspielung, weil Plan A nicht hingehauen hat.
Als ich das Logo designt habe, war ich stinkewütend. Diese Faust ist mein Widerstand gegen das System.
Viele Kunden kommen aus Solidarität. Das sagen sie auch, aber nur hinter vorgehaltener Hand, nicht vor der Kamera. Zu groß die Angst, dafür selbst den Job zu verlieren und dann wie Kevin neu anfangen zu müssen.
Einige Ex-Kollegen haben auf mich runtergeguckt, weil ich jetzt Wurst aus einem Truck verkaufe, aber ich nehme das nicht ernst. Und manche fühlen sich durch mich auch ermutigt, etwas Neues zu probieren. Denn es gibt einfach nicht genug Jobs, in denen die Fähigkeiten, die wir alle haben, noch gebraucht werden.
Sein ehemaliger Kollege Nick Detsch hat fast 30 Jahre lang im Namen der USA Demokratieförderprojekte in der ganzen Welt geleitet, bis die Trump-Regierung genau das nicht mehr wollte.
Ich war da gerade auf Dienstreise in Tadschikistan mit ein paar Kollegen. Und freitags um Mitternacht bekommen wir die Info. Nehmt den nächstmöglichen Flug zurück, ihr seid raus.
Kündigung über Nacht. In den USA durchaus üblich, allerdings bislang nicht bei den Regierungsorganisationen. USAID waren mit die ersten. Die Behörde für Entwicklungszusammenarbeit komplett aufgelöst. Der Kampf gegen Armut, für Bildung, Entwicklung und Demokratie weltweit für die Trump-Regierung nicht mehr wichtig. Jetzt gilt America First. Insgesamt sollen laut DOGE, dem Amt für effiziente Staatsführung, mehr als 280.000 Menschen in den USA ihre Arbeit verloren haben. Lebensträume geplatzt. Wie vermutlich jeder Republikaner im Land ist Dave Walker nicht grundsätzlich gegen die Entlassungen. Stichwort schlanker Staat. Unter Clinton und Bush war er der Chefcontroller der Regierung.
Es steht außer Frage, dass die US-Regierung zu groß geworden ist, zu viele Subventionen zahlt, die Kontrolle über den Haushalt verloren hat. Wir müssen also große Veränderungen anstoßen, aber dabei anders vorgehen als bisher.
Damit meint er, nicht mit der Kettensäge, wie Elon Musk und seine Helfer, die scheinbar wahllos Zugangskarten zu Regierungsgebäuden oder E-Mail-Konten gesperrt haben. 206 Milliarden US-Dollar hat DOGE nach eigenen Angaben angeblich eingespart. Bislang sind laut Experten aber nur 2 Milliarden zusammengekommen. Dave Walkers Urteil ist klar: viel Getöse, aber wenig Transparenz und Nachhaltigkeit.
What we need is DOGE 2.0. Was wir brauchen, ist DOGE 2.0. Denn DOGE 2.0 würde sich wohlüberlegt damit auseinandersetzen, was die Regierung tun sollte, um zu sparen. Und wie? Was sollten wir streichen? Was können wir verbessern? Wenn wir das tun, werden sich unsere Wirtschaft, unsere Effektivität und Effizienz und das Vertrauen der Bürger in die Regierung deutlich verbessern.
Vertrauen, das jetzt weg ist. Die ganze Region spürt den Kahlschlag von DOGE. 59.000 Jobs weg, allein in Washington, D.C. Damit hat die Hauptstadt jetzt die höchste Arbeitslosenquote der USA, etwa 6%. Überall Häuser zu verkaufen. Die Zahl der zum Verkauf stehenden Immobilien ist im Vergleich zum Vorjahr um fast 65% gestiegen. Matt Bormett ist mit seinem kleinen Buchladen in Tacoma Park Anlaufstelle für viele Jobsuchende.
Wir haben auch versucht, einen Beitrag zu leisten und 2 Leute eingestellt, die vorher für den öffentlichen Dienst gearbeitet haben. Sie haben ihren Job verloren, nicht weil sie Fehler gemacht haben, sondern weil die gemeinsten und dümmsten Menschen auf der Welt gerade die US-Regierung bilden.
Jeden Freitag gibt es hier Gratis-Kaffee für ehemalige Staatsdiener.
Eine Tasse Kaffee wird ihre Probleme sicher nicht lösen, aber es soll zeigen, dass wir sehen, was sie durchmachen.
Solidarität und Unterstützung, das ist, was viele durch diese schweren Zeiten trägt, ihnen wieder auf die Beine hilft. Und eine Perspektive bietet, wie die rollende Würstchenbude von Kevin Gass.
Vor einem Jahr war ich in München beim Oktoberfest, habe Wurst gegessen und Bier getrunken. Jetzt, ein Jahr später, bewirte ich die lokalen Oktoberfeste hier in der Gegend mit Wurst. Es macht mir Spaß, aber das war sicher nicht mein Plan.
Aber offenbar ein guter Plan B. Kevin Gass hat es erstmal geschafft. Für viele andere ist es bis dahin noch ein weiter Weg.
I used to love Xbox, man. What happened to the game I used to love? What it has become is just embarrassing. Every step of the way, they're finding new lows to hit. Today, Xbox has announced a Game Pass change, and it's a doozy. Try a 50% price increase to the Game Pass Ultimate tier. Yeah, and it is revolting. It's going about as well as me in a dunk competition. They have increased the price to $30 a month for the Ultimate tier, and the two previous tiers for Essential and Premium are just not worth it. The Ultimate tier is the only one that lets you get the games day one, and for a large number of people, that was one of the main draws of the service here. And even though the Xbox catalog has been like a fucking Magikarp over the last few years, just extremely weak, the value you got out of Game Pass at the previous price point made up for it. Like, it was worth it, and it's something that I glazed quite a bit. But now, at this price point, the fuck is the point in keeping it anymore? It's just not worth it, and a lot of people are now canceling their subscription to Game Pass in response to these price increases. It's just L after L for Xbox. Like, even just recently, they farted out a new price increase for the consoles in a time period where Xboxes are like fucking fossils. Like, you can't give those bitches away sometimes. It's a console that doesn't have a whole lot of reasons to buy it unless your friends are already on it, but chances are your friends have already moved past it. Because being an Xbox fan in 2025 is like being a fidget spinner enthusiast. It's just not cool. It's lame. Like, it is so far past its prime now. And it brings me no joy saying that, by the way. As I've always proudly stated, Xbox and Xbox 360 have been my favorite gaming experiences. Those two consoles, I think, are the most important pieces of, like, gaming hardware ever made. But once the Xbox One came out, that's when it all went tits up, and it is not recovered. You hate to see what Xbox has become. And anytime I talk about Xbox or like criticize a lot of the decisions they've made over the years, somehow there is still like this last holdout of warriors willing to fight Xbox's PR battles for them, even though the general Phil Spencer himself constantly throws himself pity parties on every podcast that will have him about how they've lost the console wars. Like, he himself recognizes how far behind Xbox has fallen and how brutal it's been for them. And it just somehow keeps getting worse, even though they have this, like, come to Jesus moment of, man, we really put our own dick in our ass here. They don't do anything to course correct. Like, they did a good decision a little while back that I praised a lot, where they dropped exclusivity. I think that is the brightest path forward for the industry, where every title hits every platform, so consumers have their pick of playing it on their preferred platform. And Xbox was kind of pushing that, and I appreciated it. But for every one step forward they've taken 20 steps back, and today it has been a catastrophic disaster for them, because now they're fucking their golden goose. They even posted a delusional video celebrating these Game Pass changes as if it's something that the community was asking for. It's so out of touch and tone deaf. Just take a peek at this.
Hey everyone, Xbox Game Pass is getting an upgrade. We've listened to your feedback, and now you have even more freedom to choose how you play the games you want. We've expanded all Xbox Game Pass plans to give you more games and more ways to play and more rewards than ever. Previously, Core was primarily for console, but Essential now lets you play games on Xbox console, PC, and cloud. That means you have the freedom to stream and play on any supported device. And with cloud gaming, that includes a lot of devices.
So she goes through each tier with the upgrades that have been introduced, the improvements that they've augmented all of this with. And I'm just not fucking seeing it. Like, it really just seems like you get the same deal, but with more money needed to be forked over to achieve it. Like, the big thing that stands out to me is that they're putting more of a focus on, you know, PC gaming. So instead of it being all about console, now you get more freedom to play on PC and like the cloud stuff. But for people that are like Xbox heads, they don't give a fuck about that. Like, they're not getting a much better deal. They're just having to pay more money for the deal. Like, it just doesn't seem worth it. And judging from the response from the community, almost nobody is defending it. I don't think there's anyone out there that actually thinks this is them listening to community feedback, because you need to pay $30 a month in order to like play Call of Duty Black Ops 7 on launch. Like, Why would you do that? Why would you be paying $30 a month to then get access to a game day one? It's so fucking expensive. At that point, you might as well just buy the game that you're interested in, as opposed to having this like ongoing expensive subscription to Game Pass Ultimate for it. It's just not worth it. The value is not there. It does seem like it is now just a price increase without offering any real reason or justification to fork over those doubloons for it. What the fuck is the point? Like, I don't know where the spin is coming that they're trying to put on it. Like, this is what you guys been asking for. Everyone's been begging to give us more money. All of you are asking to pay more for Game Pass, and we said, fine. Guess our hands are tied. We're reluctant to do this. But we're going to increase the price by 50% per your feedback. It's what you guys were demanding, so we're just serving you the meal you ordered from the menu. Like, who's asking for that? Like, I don't know where it's coming from. And again, the things that they're talking about in the tier, like the tiers that they're introducing, it feels like it's mainly just PC cloud related stuff that I don't think the console players were really begging for in a big way, especially if it leads to a price increase.
The best thing about Ultimate is that you can play new games on day one. That includes games like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, The Outer Worlds 2, and High on Life 2. But now, the best is getting even better. Ultimate subscribers will get access to over 75 day one games a year. We're also adding 2 new partner subscriptions. With Ultimate, you'll now have access to Ubisoft Plus Classics in addition to EA Play.
Wait, maybe I was a little hasty. Hold the fucking phone here. You get access to Ubisoft Classics? Oh my god, that's what I've always wanted. Access to Ubisoft Classics. Ubisoft! Yes! Oh, I can't wait to be paying $30 a month. Whee! And of course, EA Play. Who can understate the value of EA Play there? This is so silly. And I was really curious if they were going to mention the price increases in this video here, because it's so pivotal. Like, this is a really big deal. It's not like some trivial increase of like, 50 cents. It's 50%. They have raised it from $20 to $30, and they don't make a peep. They don't mention it in this video at all. They tried to save that cold water outside of the hype of this announcement, which I think is a little scummy. I don't really like that. You should talk about the price changes too. You talked about everything else, like the name changes, which feel totally unnecessary, but that's just like corporate America where names change all the time for the most minuscule of reasons. But come on, you're not going to mention the price here? There's just nothing, there's nothing in this that screams value, that screams that this is worth it now. Previously, at the old price points of Game Pass, I thought it was a good deal. I really did think that they had a good service that they were offering at that price point. At this, I don't see who the fuck would ever be able to like rationalize spending that kind of money for what you get out of it. It doesn't make sense to me. And what also doesn't make sense to me is how Microsoft thought that this was a good idea. Like, I recognize that they're not, doing amazing, but I mean, come on, like, just look at 2025 for Microsoft. It has been rough. And they've already increased prices on like console and everything, and now this. Like, they had to know this was going to be a big fucking miss here. I just, like, I don't get it. It's crazy to me. Anyway, though, I just wanted to yap about this a bit. I really, and I don't mean this exaggeratory, I really don't know how much longer Xbox is even going to be around before they just pull the plug on it. It just seems like it's in such a disastrous state. They have so many things under their umbrella, but yet have so little to show for it. And their one, like, really good saving grace here with Game Pass is just getting ruined. It is going straight in the dumpster. It's already there. Like, this is a dagger in Game Pass for a large number of people. Like, it's not blown out of proportion with the amount of people canceling their subscription. It really does seem to be that bad. Anyway, though, I won't yap about it any longer. That's really about it. See ya.
Holy fuck! 2.3 million views in one day? Guys, this is gonna be good, this is gonna be good, this is gonna be good!
Big car somewhere, I'm not sure where. And I was like shopping here, I didn't buy anything. And then I look at my phone and
I think I've seen this mall before.
buy from the Louis V store $3,870.
How much was it?
$3,870. And I was standing there and I'm like, no, like reject, like whatever. And so my first thought is just come here to tell them, see if we can find the person who did it. And I just went in and told them like, hey, it's not me, obviously I'm not in the store. Rejected it. And then I saw like other
What mall is this?
other transactions, and then I started like declining them, but they went there. The other one was, I don't know, I went away from my phone. I don't know why. The Louis V one went away, and the other one that stuck that I think went through
Tampa, really?
Nordstrom for 1,000 something.
That one did go through.
It did go through.
And
And so I was gonna go to Nordstrom, and I started going that way, then realized it was that way. And then I came back and asked them if they knew, and then they started giving me all the information.
Okay. Did they say that the person who did make, they know who she was, or he?
No, then they said like, oh, I did, like stay here, and then, sorry, I'm nervous. I returned.
Gotcha. So different places here. So
Those were the three places that I went
gotcha.
to.
All right, perfect. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Let me figure out. Okay.
Well, I mean.
Okay, gotcha. Which lady is it? Can you? One right here. Okay. Gotcha. I'm curious to see. She made a purchase at 38. She said her name was Laura. Gotcha, which is her. She walked in. Said my card was declined.
Want some titles?
Okay. Gotcha.
Yo, that happens in this video. Yo, how's it doing so well when nothing happens? What the fuck is that?
Welcome back, Mr.
I'm actually mad at it. Guys, I was getting cozy and shit like that, man. Like, what even is this?
It's 2 different incidents here. 2 different incidents.
Okay, so then I go in there, and she's been kind of hitting on me to get a bag for a little while. So then she's giving me this bullshit that I'm gonna give her a bag. And the reason why I said bullshit is because I'm totally against spending this much money in a bag. So she talks me into it, and I do it. So now,
that's just because of my own principles. I never spent this much money in a bag or whatever.
Right.
So I go and I buy the bag. It has nothing to do with the previous stuff, and I can't really tell. Are you saying that she was alone and she was popping in and doing all these things?
Yeah. So once again, yes. So
Well,
earlier
interesting.
today, she was by herself again. She was by herself.
Today.
Earlier. So earlier today, what time? Don't know. Not of an issue, right? She was in it.
Issue to me because I know what her time is.
Well, she just by her. What is the big issue? Like, what are you trying to dispute? Because by her own, hold on, by her own admission, she said she was in there by her. Okay, actually, you don't even need to be here. Actually, so you can go ahead and leave. You don't need. I mean, there's no point in me even talking to you because you were not a part of this whatsoever. Just like you wanted me to clarify with the we. So you are not involved in this whatsoever. My issue is with her. All right.
Okay, but the timing.
So right now you're being detained, all right, for an investigation, okay? That's what's happening right now. So right now you're not free to leave at whatsoever, okay? All right? Because like I said, I'm conducting an investigation into the theft. So that's what's going to happen right now, okay? So what I just need you to do, just stay right there. Don't move. If you want to, you can move against the wall there or whatever to get out of the way. Okay.
XQC, how are you today, Mr. Juicy? Can you welcome me to the jungle for my 61st month anniversary? XQC and also white happy birthday for you, everyone at PLS LSU.
Chat, I don't really get it, chat. This sugar daddy type guy, do they get any juice at all, or do they just get milk?
How about this? Do you just have the cameras that I can see, like the at the register or anything like that?
Here's the issue.
Chat, hold on. Chat, what's better? No female attention, no women attention, or paid women attention? What's worst?
Standard operating procedure for this.
Yep.
Is that
paid for sure.
We have to have a subpoena
I agree.
in order for me to give this information.
Gotcha.
So I don't want to get it so far out of the lines.
Yep, I got you.
Now I get in trouble on my side
I get
and open us up to some kind of litigation from their side. You never know. So I saw it on the cameras.
Okay.
And I can provide that to you upon request, formal request, okay?
Gotcha.
And I can give you the information of the individual that you'll need to reach out to get that. But I can attest, I just was running it, that she came in alone without this guy.
Yeah. Do you know what time that was?
I can get you a timestamp. Let me go get a timestamp.
And she's up, so. Say it again. She just got out. Yeah, it's just fine. That's fine. As long as she doesn't.
If he's at a phone, why are you trying to stand there and get in the business?
I know. You don't know.
You know what the situation is.
Oh, yeah.
Just for me, kind of pressure.
In the ship reader at 3:37.
3:37. All right, perfect. And you,
this is funny.
You saw the video, and you saw her insert the card.
For the item, same amount, it declines. She immediately leaves the store on her phone, and then comes out here where she links up with this guy, and then he came back in and picked her up.
Gotcha. And you're how sure from 0 to 100% that that's the same female there?
Wait.
It's the exact same female.
Wait.
100%.
W Strat though. Hold on a minute. Dude, why is she trying to use a fucking fake card? Why not just use a card that has no money or like that's maxed out or whatever, and it declines? You go, oh my god, my card declines. Who's gonna save me? And this guy comes in and saves her. This is the easiest bait in the world, no?
We're gonna go out to my police car, okay? Because you're under arrest right now. So go on. Otherwise, I'm asking you to listen. All right, turn around, because I tried to do this.
Why do you have to be so mad? I'm not resisting. Why are you hurting my arm so bad, though? For what, though?
Turn around, put your hands behind your back. But I tried to be nice and just have you walk outside on your own, so that way you don't have to look crazy with handcuffs on. But since you want to do this,
but I'm not resisting. Why?
Damn, bro.
Why are you?
Jesus.
I'm just trying to find out what's going on. Where's the proof that I did this?
Bro, drop it on the ground. He doesn't give a fuck.
And it showed her card?
Yep.
How can you see that? Check my
When
I
are we
don't have her
getting
card.
Twitch Battle Pass?
You probably don't have it anymore. Oh, Lord.
I never had it. Like, why do you have to do all this?
All right, listen.
this walk.
But why? I didn't do anything.
I'm so sorry.
You're so sorry for what? So now what? What's gonna happen? Can you tell me?
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I just want to know. I've never been in this situation.
Well, it's a time for a first, huh?
So I just want to know where's the proof. I didn't do anything.
Please XQC. I promise I won't smell what is marinating between that crack of yours.
Is it not okay for you to tell me?
You can't fix her. The reality is that
You can't tell me what the process is?
We'll talk when we get outside.
you can't. She'll only let you fix her if you're rich.
Come on.
I'm going in the car?
And then that means that nobody can fix her.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Why?
Do me a favor, turn this way. You have anything on you? Any weapons, guns, knives,
Can you
anything
welcome
like
me
that?
to the jungle?
No. Am I going to
48
jail?
months, pig.
Probably so.
For what?
That's
sir?
what happens when you steal, you go to
But
jail.
I didn't though.
Okay. If you still want to stick with that story, okay.
Ow, fuck.
You still want to stick with that story. She probably tossed that card in the trash or
For trespassing.
I genuinely thought that this would be an interesting video, chat, but it was not
No,
interesting.
they stereotype girls a lot in Vegas for certain things, so I got arrested once for that. And then I went back to buy pizza, and I was there for 5 minutes, and then they're like, "Oh, you're
They stereotype? Really?
arrested me."
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a second, okay? Let me figure
So,
out.
hooker.
Look at your criminal history and all that stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Can I get my speaker quick enough?
Yep, go ahead.
So just to let you know, my name is Michael, one of the supervisors.
Yeah, I think it's because the title is like very baby. It's pretty like meticulously concocted title. Titles are 99% of the fucking click rate these days.
Them all for a year, starting today. So if we come back again, okay, I had to just tell you that.
Yes.
Okay.
How does it feel knowing that you could buy every product inside of that mall thanks to chat?
So she did,
Now give us a good fart and describe the
kind of
smell.
admit that she did find it in the parking lot of Northern. Are you parked over there?
What?
at the public and that he has somehow avoided jail. So dark. To add to life's piquancy, Jeffrey, with increasing frequency, on any occasion with little persuasion, will outrage the public decency. Jeffrey, at half a century with credential penitentiary, though up to no good whenever he could, has avoided the penitentiary. That is unbelievable, dude. That is unbelievable. Then we have Henry Ravovsky attached tit prints to his letter on page 166 to Epstein, aside a letter that reads, "For the man who has almost everything, but never enough of these." Then Leslie Wexner, the founder of Victoria's Secret, who helped Epstein grow his wealth early on, wrote a letter on page 171 in which he gets Epstein what he wanted by drawing a pair of tits at the bottom of his letter. And here is where we start seeing Trump's name mentioned in the book. On page 154, a cover letter depicting women, a plane, balloons, and cake precedes a drawing, a picture, and a letter that all look terrible. It's from Joel and falls right where the table of contents credits Joel Pashkow. The next page is a drawing comparing the years 1983 with 2003, with 1983 showing Epstein giving a lollipop to a group of young girls holding balloons. Then in 2003, he's on his island with his private jet above getting massage and pleasured by a group of naked women and the text, "What a great country." Next is the picture. It's a grainy picture of a novelty-sized check written to Epstein from Trump in the value of $22,500 being held by a group of pedophiles. I don't know, people. The handwritten letter claims to have arranged a deal between Trump and Epstein where a fully depreciated woman was sold to Trump for $22,500. And the writer laments not getting any of the money or the girl. So this is, I guess, a bombshell, right? It is a letter that basically admits to trafficking a woman between Epstein and Trump, right? And that paired with the drawing, it seems very damning. I mean, people, and there's nobody talking about this. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it, but it's just, who cares, man? Who cares? I care a lot, actually, like a lot. It's insane. There are 4 people in the picture with a woman's face being redacted and partially covering the face of another man who I can't quite make out, but you can clearly see Epstein and Joel Pashkow, who has been photographed with Epstein before. Oversight Dims, a verified government page, has even stated that Joel is a longtime member of Mar-a-Lago in a tweet of this picture and letter, so I'm inclined to believe that. And the letter from Trump himself allegedly is buried pretty deep in the book at page 165. Then you see the heavy lined drawing of the woman-shaped body with small curves where breasts would be indicating they're small in size. We covered earlier what the letter says and how it sounds like a weird flirtatious role play, mentioning shared secrets and commonalities between the two men, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, FBI informant. We can see that it's signed by Donald Trump, allegedly, and I say allegedly due to the responses and controversies that have arisen since this all became public in the $10 billion lawsuit, which, by the way, if I got sued for $10 billion, it is so over for me, dude. If you have that much money, you can just be like, I don't like it when you say that about me. It's true, but like, just don't. I have a lot of money. I can ruin your life with I have a lot of money. Hey, man, that doesn't seem fair, to be honest. It has become so controversial and is why Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion over its publication, even though it's now been released by the Oversight Committee and was provided by the Epstein estate. So I am curious how this will impact the lawsuit since it's now publicly accessible thanks to the government, and it just seems legit, seems real, seems like a bullshit lawsuit. I assume it's going to get dropped. Trump, his administration, and conservative influencers on social media have been very outspoken in denying any possibility that this letter, as well as the novelty-sized check and the transaction described in the letter from Joel Pashkow, are real. They're obviously denying that because it looks really bad. Obviously, they would deny it. They don't ever acknowledge anything that's wrong. We have yet to see any, that is true. Yeah, that's bad. There's never been any acknowledgement, so I feel like, I mean, I don't know what to believe, to be honest. Unfortunately, I really don't know what to believe. I want to believe what's right. I don't want to believe things based on political biases, but this looks bad. This looks really, really, really bad. It's causing quite a stir. This year, the Trump administration has changed quite a few gears. There were tons of promises of disclosure and transparency, but that has all shifted, and instead, now they take the stance that this is just a hoax, which is really frustrating because I think everybody was like, oh, that's good. They're going to release the Epstein files, and that's awesome. I would love to see all the, all the people we can, kind of know, that chapter, that book's going to be shut. The whole campaign, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, all these people, everything was built on, oh, I'm gonna go on a podcast, I'm gonna say, all right, we're gonna release the files. And then as soon as you get in, the government, the cabal, the demons go around, they circle you and they say, you can't release that. And then they say, there's no files. Hey, go yourself. Like, what do you want us to do? You want us to trust you? I just hope more people are, I don't know. It seems like nobody cares on the deep, dark right. Oh my God, dude. It's a distraction. Everything is a fucking distraction too. Everything's a fucking distraction. Everything is a distraction. I'm a distraction. Sorry. When the FBI and DOJ released their memo, people were understandably upset that despite acknowledging over 1,000 victims exist and 10,000 plus pieces of CSAM were found, no one else was going to be looked into, and the case, for all intents and purposes, was closed. Nonsense. He'd post on Truth Social, clearly upset that people still care about Epstein and people won't shut up about it. All of a sudden, the files are written by Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, and Joe Biden, and his voters were falling for it. His idiot voters. You stupid. You don't know anything. Even though I've been saying this for years, you're all wrong. This is one of the first instances we've seen of Trump turning on his MAGA peoples. Okay, guys? It's crazy to see. And a lot of them don't even really care, which is really confusing to me. But we have to think about the reason he's turning on them. It's because they want pedophiles punished. They actually care. Most people actually care about this type of stuff. And when the news of the letter and the drawing Trump allegedly made for Epstein's 50th birthday came out, the president posted to Truth Social the day the Wall Street Journal dropped the article stating that it's a fake letter. It's fake! So why is it fake? Trump says these aren't his words, and that's not the way that he talk. Everything to computer. Trump also says he warned Rupert Murdoch not to print the story because it's a scam, implying that he had some kind of advance notice that this was going to drop and tried to prevent it, which is interesting because there's a conflicting narrative here. Vice President J.D. Vance had quite the gotcha for the Wall Street Journal too when the article first went live, calling it complete and utter bullshit on Twitter, asking, where is this letter? While also sharing that they were never shown the letter before it was posted. Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, posted to Twitter when the Oversight Committee released the complete birthday book on September 8th, saying that when the Wall Street Journal dropped their article, the reporter Joe Palazzolo reached out for comment the exact minute it went live. And Caroline says that they didn't have time to respond. Which is it? I mean, what? If Trump had time to issue a warning to Rupert Murdoch, then he'd probably have time to tell his media team to prepare a response in case it drops, right? I mean, that makes sense. If they didn't have time to respond because they didn't know it was being posted until it went live, then how the did the thing I just say, how would that make any sense? And then there's poor J.D. Vance running around, the house is on fire, he's screaming, Mommy and Daddy are fighting, Mommy and Daddy are fighting, please, please. Is the divorce my fault? Yes, it is. You're complacent. You're a part of this. You're supposed to be at least close to one of us. What the fuck? I guess J.D. Vance got the answer to, where is the letter? Because it's right there in Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book amongst a bunch of other pedos and freaks and criminals. So that's where the letter is. Where's the letter at? Hey bud, right here, dickweed. Is it possible that Trump and his team are lying? Surely not. I mean, hey, he says he doesn't draw, so there shouldn't be any pictures he's ever drawn to prove that, right? He doesn't draw. Trump doesn't even draw. He doesn't know how to draw. He can draw. We actually have his ArtStation account. Oh, crap! a drawing of the Manhattan skyline signed by Trump and sold at auction for nearly $30,000 back in 2017. What? A drawing of the Empire State Building signed by Trump and sold for $100 at a charity auction in 1995, then again in 2017 for $16,000? Oh my God! More drawings! City skylines! What the details, windows, streets, trees, people, crosshatches, buildings, all signed by Trump. Oh my God, his family on a nice sunny day out enjoying the sun. Just kidding, I drew that. For a who don't know how to draw, there's a lot of drawings being sold at charity auctions. I know actual artists who have sold less drawings. When asked about the letter to Epstein by reporters more recently, he dropped the line about the drawings, but maintains that it's not his signature and not his words.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time know that's not my language.
So clearly he's seen that people have seen that he's a prolific artist. He's a really excellent. He really can capture the feeling of the skyline. He's actually pretty good. This is interesting. The skyline. Are those people? What are those people? So the signature and the words. We'll dig into that now. One thing that's noticeable when comparing the letter to Epstein to other drawings that Trump has done is that in the other drawings, Trump has signed his full name, not just Donald. In the letter found in the 50th birthday book Ghislaine Maxwell put together for Epstein, it's just Donald. Now that doesn't mean much because Trump has signed probably close to 1 million documents in his life, I'd assume, including 200 executive orders just this year, and also something that he previously condemned Obama for, but who is really keeping track? It's just politics, right, guys? The claim is that this is not his signature. Not that it's a legitimate signature that's been lifted and pasted into the letter. It's that it's not his. It isn't his at all. This isn't his signature. During a press conference, the media pressed Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the signature's authenticity, asking if she'd support having an expert analyze it to prove it's not the president's signature. She says that they would support that, then states that she's seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out who said it's absolutely not Trump's signature.
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature.
She even cites a supposed article from the Daily Signal that seemingly showed 3 separate analysts coming to this conclusion. I wanted to find this article and see for myself. Strangely, however, there is no article like this at all on the Daily Signal, and they have over 16,000 results when you search for Trump signature. But going back through to the date the letter became available, there aren't any that reference signature analysis. So maybe we're just dumb and we can't find it, but digging some more, what I think she may have been trying to reference was an article from the Daily Wire, which claimed that the Wall Street Journal Epstein letter was the polar opposite of Trump's writing style, according to 3 forensic analyses. You know, the Daily Wire. Very centrist, very unbiased. So let's assume the Daily Wire had some reputable experts conduct the analysis. We should not discount it just because of the penis-sucking nature of the publication. Oh, wait a second. Turns out they had 3 leading AI research systems conduct the analysis, and they unanimously agreed that there was an extremely low probability that it was authored by Trump. Are you kidding me right now, dude? What? You had AI do it. Oh, so with this knowledge, let's look back at the statement that Leavitt had made and we'll compare it to the truth. She claimed that it was the Daily Signal that published the article, a site that's already pretty far right-leaning. It was not. It was the Daily Wire, an even further right-leaning outlet. She then said it was an article that published the findings of 3 forensic analysts who agreed it absolutely was not the president's authentic signature. But in reality, it wasn't 3 forensic analysts. It was in Grok AI. Or probably not even Grok, dude. It was, I don't even know, what's the worst AI? I can't even think of them. It was 3 AI tools. So this just in, Caroline Leavitt, also a bitch like Pam Bondi. So they didn't analyze the signature, they analyzed the writing style, and they didn't find that it absolutely wasn't his. They found it was a very low probability. Oh my God. There is a big difference between absolutely wasn't his, 0%, and very low probability. Like, a lot of difference. Like, so much, dude. Like, if you were to say, there's a 0% chance you're going to die today, I'd be like, okay, I'll sleep tonight. And then if someone said, if I heard a voice in my head, there was a very low probability you will die today, I'd be on edge, dude. You know why? Because there's a chance. Obviously. What's a low probability? Less than 50. Okay, there you go. So, in essence, Caroline Levitt really heavily invited a handwriting expert to analyze the signature by just spreading a bunch of misinformation and being a total dumbass, doofus, idiot, propagandist freak. This is America, all right? This isn't communist China. We don't do that. Well, we do that, actually. I'll correct myself. But the people of America are very proud because we feel like we don't do that. But we do, though. We do it just as much as everybody else. But, like, we don't think we do. Oh, I farted. So yeah, a real expert analyzed the signature, not the contents of the letter, not the writing style, and they reported that the signature absolutely is Donald Trump.
The signature that came up last night purported to be Donald Trump. I can absolutely say it is Donald Trump, but it's very much the signature that Donald Trump had in the early 2000s as opposed to his signature now.
Real specialty title, graphologist Emma Bach conducted this analysis, and she's been working as an expert since 1989, according to her website. She'd done work for Google and has had her work appear on TV and in true crime documentaries. Not that appearing on screen magically makes your work bulletproof, but she's earned the trust of many conglomerates, companies. She's a more trustworthy person than, let's say, Caroline Levitt. It's not a difficult conclusion to come to, and I feel like anyone with a low probability of a working brain could probably look at the signature in the birthday book and the signatures that Donald Trump has written on other letters and just be like, yeah, that's probably him, for sure. It looks like his whack-ass weird signature. So yeah, that makes sense. But what about the contents of the letter itself? We couldn't trust AI to analyze the contents, so maybe we could try letting AI analyze the contents again and hope for a different result. That's the solution. On Twitter, at least. Grok was asked by a Twitter/X user who hasn't lost all critical thinking skills to see if Trump has ever used the word enigma since it's used in the letter. Grok finds there's no record of him using the word enigma in writing or speaking. The reason we use this example is that Donald Trump Jr. quoted this post in a post to prove that this couldn't possibly be his father's work, saying, "My father has a very specific way of speaking, and in 47 years, I've never seen him doodle once." Now, we know we can set aside the claims of the no doodling because we know Trump is a prolific doodler, okay, guys? Because that for sure is false. And aside from the fact that it's sad that in 47 years of being alive, he's never sat next to his son and drew with him, that's sad, that alone, but we'll ignore that. We're not gonna humanize anybody in this video, except for the victims, obviously. Additionally, the claim that Trump never used the word enigma was debunked with a clip of Trump using it twice at a rally in Iowa.
Now, Carson's an enigma to me. I didn't say it. Carson's an enigma.
It was also used twice in a book that Trump co-wrote in 2004 titled Trump, How to Get Rich. So yeah, that's wrong. It's not the only example of him using terms and phrasing that are also present in the letter. In fact, many similarities have been found between the letter and Trump's writing style, which is apparently different from what's found in the letter, allegedly. And these are compiled by Judd Legume on Popular Information and an investigation comparing the two. And I'm a big Legume guy, so I'm gonna give old Judd a chance here. Judd's an interesting name. The first line of the letter, the part that is dubbed voiceover, says, "There must be more to life than having everything." This is a direct quote from a children's book, Higgledy Piggledy Pop by Maurice Sendak. Maurice also wrote a book, We Are All in the Dumps with Jack and Guy, with a page that's critical of Trump depicting homeless kids in front of Trump Tower. Trump seems to obsess over any criticism he faces, so I'm sure this was an author he was aware of. At the end of the letter, Epstein is referred to as pal, which is a term Trump has used to refer to Steve Witkoff in 2018, so he absolutely says that. He also used it to describe Phil Ruffin in 2011. The letter, if written by Trump, allegedly, also refers to himself in the third person, which is another Trump-style choice that he's shown in the past and was even made into a compilation 6 years ago by the Washington Post because of how strange it is to refer to yourself in third person. I'm not a very smart guy. It seems like this is just outright denial to try and save face, and there is no politician or party that represents you, okay? Because they're all full of shit. It doesn't matter what side of the fence they're on. If they've been in the game for a long enough time, they're full of shit. They're full of dookie, you know. They got about as much dirt as a flea market couch. So yeah, signature, allegedly legit. The writing style, allegedly legit now, allegedly legit. I've never heard him say Enigma. Pal Enigma. I don't know, dude. How about this? How about the BS novelty-sized check? How about that? The $22,500 check written to Epstein for the fully depreciated woman. Caroline was asked about this at another press conference, and her response was, "Did you see the signature on that check? It's not Donald Trump's signature. It is absolutely the president did not say that. Did not sign that at all. I asked AI.
I wondered if the president has any recollection of that, or what you guys make of that photo that was included in those documents.
Did you see the signature on that check? It is not Donald Trump's signature. It is absolutely not. The president did not sign that check.
Now, just in case she's unaware, that is a novelty-sized check, not a normal piece of paper. Just because Trump's rich doesn't mean all of his checks are that big. I would say, because I'm a person who thinks the movement to sign your name is going to be vastly different when signing a gigantic check as to when you sign a small, normal check. One is the length and width of a grown man's thigh. So yeah, probably not gonna be a typical signature. Also, it's a novelty-sized check. They're not even real. It's just like a thing. Why would they put that in the birthday book? If not as a funny joke. It's obviously clearly a joke amongst good pals. Good enigmatic pals. I don't think it needs to be a perfect signature to hand over to the bank. It's just a symbolic deal. It's just symbolic of a deal that's made between a couple of people. So anyways, even if it was all just a joke, the fact that it exists and the reasoning behind it is a major red flag regarding the relationship between the current president of the United States of America and Jeffrey Epstein. If they're joking about selling women when one of them is literally guilty of selling and trafficking women, it's f***ed up. They denied that he wrote the letter, then when it matches his writing and word choice in the past, they deny that he wrote the signature, and then it was found to be a match by a handwriting expert, and they deny that the check has his signature on it when it's 20 times larger than a normal signature, so of course it's not gonna be a one-to-one. So let's suspend disbelief for a second and say that these are forgeries. It is fake. So in this case, we're assuming that the only person who's been lied and slandered about in the Jeffrey Epstein birthday book is Trump. Out of 238 pages, 3 are completely fabricated magically. You know, I'm not so sure about that. And also, if it was fabricated and it was a Democratic hoax, why didn't the Democrats use it to win the election last year? I just don't understand how this works, really. What's the end game here? If this was planted to make Trump look bad, when did they plant it? Was it planted 20 years ago, just waiting to see the light of day and make Trump look bad? Was it planted right before it was sent to the Wall Street Journal and the Oversight Committee? Like, the only way that any of this is bullshit and is fake is if there are people literally faking stuff the moment before all this comes out, and it didn't exist before Trump was elected in the last, like, it. But all this, nothing's changed though. It's all the same stuff we're seeing. We're just seeing more of it released. So I don't know. I do know that the answers that have been given are simply unsatisfactory to address the criticisms over the letter correctly, and the check being present in the birthday book at all. Any of this being present, none of the things that have been said make me think, well, I trust him. Most of the reasons given for why it couldn't be true have just been completely proven wrong. So what's next? I mean, what else is there? Just spam that line, dude. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a hoax, man. It's a hoax.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. Democrat hoax. that never ends.
The hoax was explained more by Speaker Mike Johnson in the same speech in which he stated Trump was an FBI informant because continuing to call it a hoax is just drawing more backlash for them. So apparently their argument is being mischaracterized by the media. I feel bad for them. One could argue that mischaracterization is happening on both sides, like using incorrect information from the wrong website to prove the wrong point. It's pretty exhausting. I'm gonna be real. I need to lay down and roll around for a little bit or something like that. You guys ever lay on the floor? Anyways, in the statement from Mike Johnson, he says that when calling it a hoax, what Trump is referring to is Democrats using the situation to attack him.
Trump called it a hoax yesterday.
What Trump is referring to is the hoax that the Democrats are using to try to attack him. He has never said or suggested or implied. I've talked to him about this many times, many times.
He's not saying that what Epstein did was a hoax, because that's what it seemed like he was saying to me, but I'm glad Mike Johnson cleared that up. When Trump heard about the unspeakable evil from Jeffrey Epstein, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, according to the cronies. Although earlier in this video, we did point out 3 separate stories that were given officially by official channels for why Epstein was kicked out or why Trump was no longer fraternizing with him, which was then denied and confirmed, and denied and confirmed. Anyways, Trump feels great sympathy for these victims, these women. Why else would he have been an FBI informant to try and take them down? Try to take the whole thing down? He was a hero.
He is horrified. It's been misrepresented. He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
Oh, okay, guy. Okay. Oh, Speaker Johnson, I get it now. Trump is actually part of the solution, not part of the problem. Yeah! That was my impression of JD Vance, understanding the story, the reality. When Trump talks about a hoax, according to Mike Johnson, he's talking about Democrats' impure motives. They're using this now to take Trump down when they never did anything in the time that they controlled the White House.
What he's talking about is the Democrats who are doing this with impure motives. If they cared so much about this, why didn't they do something during the 4 years of the Biden administration when the Biden DOJ had all the records? They didn't say a word about it.
Aren't they literally saying that the signature is fake, the letter is fake, and the check is fake? That is pointing to physical documents as being fake, not just the way that they're being used. So that's confusing. It doesn't make sense. We do have to follow up on some of these points, though. First of all, there's a supposed compassion and sympathy that Trump feels for the victims. Johnson said that he would likely even meet with them.
Should he meet with the victims? Should he meet with the victims?
I suspect he probably will. Yeah, he has great compassion for them. The president has a very compassionate heart. He hates the fact that these women suffered those harms. He hates what Epstein is accused of and who he was.
Well, luckily, victims of Epstein were gathering outside of the White House demanding transparency. So they were right outside. All Trump had to do was invite them in or go out there. Nope. Unfortunately not. That didn't work. While Trump was making a spectacle of going to a seafood restaurant in D.C., he was asked directly if he would meet with the victims on the 9th. This was 4 days after the Mike Johnson statement said he probably would, and Trump responded saying, "Nobody has suggested that, and I haven't even thought about that."
So will you meet with the Epstein victims? Do you plan to meet with?
I don't know about nobody suggesting that.
But would you be open to doing
certainly I don't like that whole situation with respect to anybody being abused or hurt, but I haven't even thought about that.
I love reading quotes of Trump. It's so funny. He's just like, what? He runs the whole country, man. It's crazy. This is the second time. Like, I kind of get it, the whole business thing, and you gotta run it like a business and stuff, but this is just, come on. I don't know. Anyways, did Johnson make a wrong assumption that Trump would? Was he just saying something he had no insight into to try and make Trump seem more like a good, sympathetic guy? Was he lying, potentially? The same day, Caroline Leavitt was asked more about the hoax, and she reiterated that the hoax is the narrative that's being spun, not the documents themselves. The hoax is apparently Democrats pretending to care about victims and even calls the ones gathering outside the White House political props.
What's fake is not the documents.
The hoax is the Democrats pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, when they have done nothing to solve crimes, when they have done nothing to lock up child pedophiles and child rapists across the country, and when they are now using victims as political props to try and, again, smear the President of the United States and drag on this bad story about him. It is a distraction.
I'd call these people cold and calculating, but none of their answers match up at all. They're just cold and dumb. Johnson says that Trump is sympathetic and will probably meet with the victims, and Trump says he's never heard that idea, and it seems like he won't, to be honest. And then we had the press secretary calling victims political props instead of trying to be more sympathetic to Epstein victims. It's just, I don't know, people bitch so much on the right about being called Nazis and racist and all this stuff. And they're like, it's just, you're using words to devalue, you're just trying to immediately throw my argument out immediately. It's a Democratic hoax. You're a Democrat. You're a Democrat. It's the same thing now. It's all the same shit. It makes me feel at peace, in all honesty, because I can just walk away. I can make this video get fired up for an hour, have a bunch of people get fired up with me on the internet. We can all kind of, I don't want to say bitch and moan together, but we can share in something that's important and we can walk away. Make sure we know and just remember it. Remember it when we vote. Remember it when we are considering even running ourselves for a local office. And there's a way to change all this stuff, and it takes a long time, and you can't get distracted. You can't get distracted from this stuff. You can distract yourself on purpose, but you have to remember things like this. You cannot forget things like this. You can't be won over by promises, and it's going to be really difficult, but I think it's got to start at a local level, though, to be honest with you guys. I think it's got to start at a local level, but anyways. What the fuck am I talking about? I have no idea. They can't make up their minds about what stance to take. They're running around with their heads cut off. Oh! Something is said like an absolute fact. For example, Trump doesn't doodle. Then he's a doodler of the highest degree. And his doodles are awesome and they've been sold at auctions. Everything gets walked back. Even the claim that he was an FBI informant was walked back by Mike Johnson when it spurred backlash online after people said you need to have seen or participated in a crime in order to be able to inform on it. That's the joke. That's the funny part about all this stuff. It's like, he's an FBI informant. Oh, you mean like he's undercover? He's an undercover pedophile? Is that what you mean, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson? You mean he's an undercover pedophile, human trafficker? Thank you, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. In walking back his claim that Trump was an FBI informant, he says that what he meant was that Trump was one of the only people willing to help law enforcement.
He was one of the only people, one of the only prominent people, as everyone has reported, not President Trump, but everybody about him, that he was willing to help law enforcement go after this guy who was a disgusting child abuser.
So he may have used the wrong terminology, but that's what he meant by his words. All right, guys, there's an ocean of difference between being willing to help the law enforcement and being an FBI informant. It's also so easy to say now, 20 years after the fact, that you were willing to help back then. It's a lie. It's just not true. But it is such a massive and impactful statement to make and then walk back when you're the Speaker of the House, third in line for presidency in the event of a tragedy. Like that's crazy. Congressman Jared Moskowitz even brought it up in a move to pressure House Judiciary Committee Republicans to see if the FBI should be questioned to see if it's true, because he's just lying. He's an FBI informant. Whatever the his name is, Mike Johnson, Big Mike. Aren't they not allowed to lie? Isn't that like the whole thing? I swear to uphold the Constitution. What are you talking about? You lie. You tarnish our rights, our amendments. You sycophant. You're a freak. You're a freak. You're not like us. You're an ugly actor. You're on pills. And not the fun ones either.
Absolutely.
But I think Dan said it the best. It's like, it's explicitly being put on by the royal family with these explicit restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah, which just makes it undeniably hypocritical for a lot of these people.
But I love you.
Yeah.
We
And
love-
I totally understand what you're saying. I know I've felt it growing up in Israel. You'll
Yeah,
hear
exactly.
this artist declare they're not going to perform in Israel. And you're like, well, what did I do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think like Dan said.
Well, but to be fair, or to be, because when they come to Israel, they're not being put on by the government.
No.
So.
And there's no restrictions. That part is really what makes it so hypercritical of these comedians.
These are just in Israel. It's just promoters who are like, come. That was very much just like there were just a bunch of people trying to enjoy culture.
Yeah, the hypothetical I was laying out, it would be
it's a good
something
one,
like
though.
that. In which case, of course, y'all deserve comedy just as much as anybody else. Absolutely.
If BB was like, hey, let's do a comedy festival, and you went with that,
right? You can't say anything about the Gaza war.
Yeah, that's
like that would obviously be fucking insane.
And that's
for
a
somebody to do
perfect
that.
example. Because that would be so crazy for people to go to that. For artists to go to that, you know?
Yeah, and Yahoo presents Michael Bublé.
That would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, it's not that crazy of an analogy because Saudi Arabia is responsible for like 300,000 people dying in Yemen. They've been going fucking ham on the Yemenis, just slaughtering people there.
Yemeni.
The Yemeni.
Just Yemeni. Yeah.
The Yemenites.
No, I don't think so.
Although I'm
the
not an
Yemish.
expert. The Yemish, I don't think that's right either.
So the comparison is actually pretty good. But I just find, the whole thing is so sellouty. And I apologize to you in Saudi Arabia. I hope you understand. It's not about you at all. And I definitely empathize with you because, like you explained, like we've experienced that being, in Israel.
Yeah, I didn't express myself accurately, but that's what I was trying to say about Dubai as well. Like the people, can't blame them for their government. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah. And it's even harder for them. They don't have democracy. They don't vote.
Right.
They have a royal family.
Yeah.
I get out of there alive. But at the same time, almost no entertainment money comes from a good place. No.
But, come on with the rationalization.
Did you see this other super chat I sent from Evie about Jessica Curson?
No.
They said that's one of the people on the list. I saw Jessica Curson in West Palm Beach a year or two ago, and a huge portion of her material was about lesbianism and sexuality. I genuinely don't even know what she performed for them.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, if you're a gay comedian, that's kind of like part of your identity usually, and a lot of your material.
Yeah. To be fair,
was this the woman they were talking to?
Nowadays, though.
She is both
even
gay.
straight ones.
She's
like,
gay and Jewish.
Yeah. Oh, gay and Jewish.
According to our shot.
Again, hold on, I want to be clear. The Jewish thing is different than the Israeli thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's not. If you're Jewish American, you have no problem going there.
Yeah.
If you're Israeli, you can't go there.
Now, I guess to be fair, there wasn't anything in that list of restrictions that said that you couldn't joke about being a lesbian or anything.
Well, she just was talking on camera, and she said, "Oh, I'm not going to do any gay stuff."
Okay, fair enough. Right, she said it herself, so she's,
Yeah.
Like,
she's
bro,
self-censoring
what
in
the
that.
I mean, there was a mention of culture, right? So, like, how do you? That's so vague.
What?
Yeah, no, I mean it's all vague, and I think they word it vague intentionally so that it gives them a lot of leeway of
By the way, Ray left
Exactly,
a comment that I liked. She said Lady Gaga performed in Russia, but she went on a long rant about gay rights and invited them to arrest her for it. It's one of my favorite moments of hers.
Well, there you go.
And I've seen that moment, and it's awesome.
Yeah. She's the goat.
There are and there are times when you can show up to, like, let's say, for lack of a better word, I don't want to say hostile. I don't know how to describe it. Like a country that's like on rocky terms. I don't know. I don't want to say enemy country, but you know what I mean. Like, if you can go there and do your thing, if you can go there and speak truth to power, then that's fucking awesome, right? But this is not what's happening. Yeah, I don't know how these people do it.
From them, or do you want to take it from someone who's probably assaulted, millions of people? I don't really have strong feelings.
Wait, what?
Money comes from a good place.
What does he mean money doesn't come from a good place? You sell tickets. People give you money. It's like the most wholesome, direct way to make money. The rationalization they're doing is crazy, bro.
But, it's like, do you want to take it from them, or do you want to take it from someone who's probably assaulted, millions of people? I don't really.
You're saying what? Like that Hollywood people are like a Harvey Weinstein type of thing? Who's sexually assaulted a million people?
Yeah, I didn't really follow the. But I mean, that was just a short clip. It could have.
I mean,
missed some context.
It sounds like the second option is like to perform on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that either. Jeffrey Epstein offered me I think I'm just gonna fly in and out. $1 billion in and out.
Was about the Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I do get the fact that they perpetrated 9/11.
I'm not doing it.
Good for you.
That's good. I admire that.
Then they doubled the bag, and I was like,
wow.
Sorry, just go on Google, Big. Who really did 9/11?
I'm not doing it.
Just be like, okay, fine, never mind.
You know why? This Shane has such a huge career, and he knows that this looks dumb. And in the long term, no matter how much money they pay you, this is not going to be a good look for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna come back. And it already is coming back.
They doubled the bag.
Right, it's not even over.
Yeah, it's still happening.
it was a significant bag. What? Yeah, but I'd already said no. You know, I took a principled stand.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Shane?
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting a beat on him.
I like him. I think he's cool.
I think he's funny. I've seen him. He's cracked me up many times. But
He's in the Joe sphere, but he kind of transcends it. Like I've heard him talk about social issues, and he is not at all like aligned with like all this anti-trans shit.
Right. Yeah. I'll
he
see
stood
stuff
up
like that.
against Shoals, remember about the Down syndrome
About the
thing?
Down syndrome, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's from what I've seen.
His Netflix show is very funny too.
What was it called? Wheel?
Tires.
Tires.
Yeah.
So here's Mark Maron talking about it. We're almost through here. I haven't actually heard this. I'm curious what he says. Oh wait, got it.
Oh, this clip is.
I don't know if you heard.
Okay.
Well, there's a Riyadh Comedy Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? You know, like, from the folks that brought you 9/11. 2 weeks of laughter in the desert. Don't miss it. I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one. Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out, you know? Well, there's
I like the self-deprecation.
Riyadh Comedy Festival.
And that's a good bit right there.
I fucking love Mark Maron.
And then the one that I wanted to show you guys was well, the one I wanted to show you guys I don't see here. It's the Tim Dillon.
Tim Dillon.
Oh.
Yeah. But
well,
Zach,
do you want to see part 1 or part 2?
I want to see what he said that got him canceled.
Both.
And then him talking about getting canceled.
Yeah. It's
the first one's short.
Love is right. It is very long.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just give a taste because you get the idea pretty quickly.
It's a whole podcast kind of long.
Let me see what's that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's the Riyadh Comedy Festival, and all of your favorite comedians are performing at the pleasure of Turki Al-Sheikh, and he is the head of the entertainment authority over there, and he has so many people thrown in prison because they tweeted stuff he didn't like about the soccer team or whatever, that there's a wing of a prison nicknamed after him where they hang people by their heels from the ceiling. Now, there's a lot of drips, killjoys, and dweebazoids who are saying, oh, they shouldn't do comedy over there because it's whitewashing a regime that just in June killed a journalist and killed Jamal Khashoggi and played a big role in 9/11.
Nice emoji.
Shut up. Name one comedian who hasn't whored themselves out to a dictator. Sinbad in the 80s would go perform for dying Nazis hidden out in Argentina. Mr. Bean
I
would
can't tell if
hide
he's making that up or not.
He's making it up.
I was like,
bit shows for Idi Amin. Me and Bibi Netanyahu have collaborated. I pitched him a prank show called The West Bank, where it's hilarious. Like, people in masks show up and eject people from their homes, and they're terrified. They just traumatize these families, and then they can never come home. And it's been going on for years, but this season has been like action-packed. And it's a prank show, but there's also a true crime element because it violates international law and people have been killed a lot. Let's not get our, moral panties yanked up, wedged high in our rumps. Human Rights Watch.
Well, and the people who pass get to do this. They get to make fun of all these people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they missed out the real comedy.
Yeah.
opportunity here.
Well, and also, I mean, just like,
this is. It took me a second to realize who this is. This is that guy from from Silicon Valley in
Gabe. He played Gabe in the
Yeah.
He's so funny.
He's got it.
Has been
Does he
begging
just do, like, stand-up?
the
I have no
comedians
idea.
not to participate
But this is funny.
in the whitewashing of the horrors that are ongoing in Saudi Arabia. Ugh, what a cockblock Human Rights Watch is for comedy. Let's have some fun, let's have some yucks, and let's not look too closely at anything. I'm a hypocrite too. Guys, it's that...
I love it. That was spot on.
Cooked there.
Yeah, it's like you are and deserve to get absolutely annihilated for going to this. Here's Tim Dillon. So he was. Is this in order?
No, I'm sorry. The second one first.
So I'll just watch the first one real fast.
I guess just a heads up. This is extremely offensive, this clip. So more so for the audience. I'm not giving you a heads up, but
Okay.
Okay.
You'll see what I mean.
Okay.
We're in Saudi Arabia. Come on.
It started off offensive. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, here he is announcing he's partaking in this in a way that I feel like he knew he was going to get fired for.
On. Get your tickets now. October 8th, the day after October 7th. Just funny how it all works. Not something that I had planned.
He is totally fucking up with them. What is he doing?
I think it's very
That's
exciting
crazy.
that we're all going to Riyadh. People are very upset about it. They're angry that comedians are going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They're very angry. They don't believe in anything. Get over it. The House of Saud is paying us hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of us millions, not me, but they're paying millions of dollars to comedians. Get over it. We're taking the money. How about that? Sorry. Oh, you weren't invited? Oh, you got nothing going on? Boo-hoo-hoo for you. I would never do it. You weren't offered. No one invited you. There's people that I respect that turned it down, but a lot of people are doing it, like a lot, like almost everyone. They bought comedy. So what? Well, they have slaves, then they kill hey. Get over it.
There's no way he didn't know he was going to get fired for this. Like, he was being so pushing it.
It hasn't even begun. It's about to begin.
It hasn't even begun.
You'll see.
They have slaves. I imagine the slaves in those countries are good at what they do. Everyone that works at all the hotels, they take their passports. They're not allowed to leave. They're slaves.
They do that.
Hey,
That's real.
Is the hotel nice? I'm not here to be a spoil sport. I'm not here to ruin the good time that everyone's having. Do I have issues with some of the policies towards women, towards the gays, towards the freedom of speech? Well, of course I do. But I believe in my own financial well-being. And I think you better start believing in that. Because when Peter Thiel puts all of you in a cage, you're going to want some way to get out of that. I'm not going to tell you how much they're paying me. It doesn't matter. Paying me $375,000 for one show. Now, a lot of other people are getting $1.6 million. That's not me. I'm not in that bracket. Others are getting 150. Why are they doing it?
Dude, he's spilling the beans.
Yeah,
like,
he's spilling the beans.
Spilling everything.
Yeah.
There's
I think
no
you're
way
right
they
that
didn't fire him for
It's
this.
definitely done in a tongue-in-cheek way with the intention of kind of
and to be
sabotaging
honest, even
himself.
if he did end up going there, this makes it a lot better.
Well,
'Cause he's at least like
It's something.
lampooning.
I feel like that's why he's doing it. Not so much that he knew that he would be fired, but I feel like for his audience to not completely make fun of him, he
To
has
get
to
ahead
be
of
at
it.
least like ironic and edgy about it.
I think he knew he was gonna get fired. I mean, what the fuck? It's the Saudi
If he knew
royalty.
he was gonna
They're
get
not
fired,
fucking-
why accept it in the first place?
Well, you'll learn. He gets a huge non-refundable deposit that he keeps, which he explains in the next one.
Maybe.
Which is this one here.
in Dubai. I mixed up Dubai and I said Abu Dhabi. Apparently, this is a big deal over there.
You did?
This is like a real problem. My agent called me and he goes, you said on Joe Rogan that you were performing in Abu Dhabi and you're actually performing in Dubai. They're cities and they have a rivalry. And I go, dude, who gives a fuck? What do I stop? I made a mistake. This is not a malicious slander. It's a mistake. He goes, well, they're very angry and they sent an email that you need to be controlled. I said, well, good luck. Whatever. I don't have to do it. I don't care. And then he called me a few days later, and I thought he was going to talk about the Kimmel thing. I thought he was going to talk about the Kimmel thing. But he called me and he said, they heard what you said about them having slaves. And I said, I was being positive about it. I was defending them. He goes, well, I know that. I know you were defending them. I said, I was defending them for having slaves. I literally said, slaves are probably hard workers and, for the most part, agreeable. But they didn't like that. You can literally support somebody too much. I've learned this. You can actually, by the way, in life this happens. Too many compliments, too much support, and then they turn on you. I was saying that slaves were proud of some of the buildings they built. That's what I was saying. I was saying that if I was a slave, not that I want to be, if I was a slave, and I built a really nice thing, I might say to my slave children, Daddy built that. That's what I was saying. I would have said, hey,
This is why I've maintained my stance on Tim Dillon. He's pretty nutty.
Yeah.
But he's
funny.
He's very funny, and he is very... he's true to the... he's a maverick. He's a comedy maverick.
Wow.
I'll say it.
That's an honor.
And this is great comedy. This is funny shit.
It's chaotic funny.
This is real maverick comedy. And all these other hacks, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle,
yeah,
they're out there going, yes, sir. I'll make sure to keep all my jokes appropriate. Tim, he was talking about their slaves, bro.
Daddy built that. When my slave children said, ooh, look at that, I'd say, you know, Daddy built that. I was going that angle. Apparently, this got to the people in Saudi Arabia, and they were unhappy about it.
You don't say.
They're huge fans of comedy over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I am very clear about the way I will do a gig. If I accept a gig, I am not going to break the rules of the gig. Meaning, Amish people call me. They go, Tim, we're going to pay you a lot of money. We want you to perform in the Amish, Pennsylvania Dutch country. But we're Amish. So we don't want to hear about iPhones or Kalshi, which they should hear about. It's phenomenal, this Kalshi. We'll get to it later. But if that was a rule, I would respect it while I'm there. While I'm in Pennsylvania Dutch country, eating shoe fly pie, respecting their culture.
Shoe fly pie?
You have a culture. You've got Sharia law. Would I like Sharia law? No, I don't want it. Actually, I don't want it. I'm good. But you have it. So it's not like I have bits in my act about the prophet anyway. So I certainly wasn't going to show up in your country and insult the people that are paying me the money. One, it's illegal.
Right.
So I wasn't really planning to go to a Saudi jail. But on my own show, in my own country, where I have the freedom to speak and say the things I want, I'm going to be funny and I'm going to be who I am. And if you're not buying that, you don't have the right to tell me on my own show. People were coming up to me saying, why would you go to that country? They have slaves. In Tribeca, they're assaulting me, these people. I'm just leaving a lunch and they're coming out. They have slaves, they say. And of course, I addressed it in a funny way and they fired me. And then they told me, they go, my agents, they all call me. You don't have to talk about this, they say. Don't talk about it. Remember when you talked about Joker?
Good luck with that.
I said, what? They go, it hurts